YouTube says it's live, happening soon. All right, it says you're live. Hello, my friends. Welcome again to, a special episode of Talk Power BI. There are quite a few things that make today special, and I'll admit I did not sleep well because there were all these ideas in my head, and I knew what I wanted to do, what I wanted to announce today, and it's a big, big day today. So lots of cool announcements. Hang on for that. But yeah, if you're joining me live, then put your name in the chat box. Let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know if you can see a screen and hear my audio. And we'll start there. So we have Greg Berg. So let me say hello to our friends, Learn Power BI friends who are on the phone. So we have Charles, Elwood, Frank, Greg, and Thomas Powers. Hello, my friends. And on YouTube as well, we have Stacy, we have Wilson, and we have Mike from Allen, Texas. So, folks, again, if you're joining us live, let us know that you can hear us, see us okay. Wilson from Dubai, Fabian from Costa Rica says hello. Narayan Moria from Delhi. Hello, Narayan. All right, so let's see how it's going. All right, so as you join in, folks, do type in your name. Let us know where you're joining from, and that's great. So, Balaji from Birmingham, Alabama. Chris from Belgium. All right, folks. So welcome aboard. And again, as I said, today is something special. So hey, first of all, this is basically a thank you. You know what? So let me start here. So today is a Talk Power BI Q&A, and that was frankly the original flavor of Talk Power BI. I would just hop on and we would just answer questions. Now, of course, we have experimented with a few different things, which have been great, right? So we have done a lot of special topics. We've had special guests, which are great. I'm sure you've all enjoyed that. Folks who are on the phone, many of them you met through my channel, through these sessions. So that's been great. But I still wanted to get back to the roots. But I knew that the earlier system was, I wanted to try something different. So here we are. What we're doing is, so by now you're familiar with Dashboard Makeover. We do that once a month. Again, you can just go to my site, Learn Power BI, and look under free resources. That's where the good stuff is. Talk Power BI. It has a Dashboard Makeover, but today's episode is the Q&A. So we plan to do this once a month, and the big difference is that we are trying out, and we'll see how it works, is that you get to pre-submit your question. Now, if you're a student, then hey, you have your own special link because this is going to flag your question as a student, and I'll show that in a second. So thank you for everybody who submitted. And again, on the bottom of that, you have a link. I would say, hey, you can see the questions that have been submitted. So I think this is going to be great. This is going to make it a little more planned. What I'm also planning for, is that we'll pull in folks from the from my Learn Power BI community to kind of handle these questions. Maybe some of our Pro Plus members. I don't know what's going to happen, right? It's a beta. I love beta. I love going the agile MVP fashion. So this is actually not MVP. This is version 2, right? So version 2.0. If you've done it once, it used to be ad hoc. Now we're trying this out. We'll see how it goes. But again, imagine if it wasn't just me, because hey, I'm just one person, right? So, and again, if you, some of you have heard me talk about my mission of helping 1 million people. And I started off with that mission, but I quickly realized that that's not my style. I like working with small groups, so I modified the goal. You can say I cheated. It's okay to cheat. Find hacks. Is that I'm gonna empower 1,000 people who can then in turn empower 1,000 others. Simple, right? So that's how I'm gonna do it. So maybe the Pro Plus members step in and gosh, they take half the questions, and I can step away. I can go, I don't know, take a nap, eat some food, and do something, right? Listen to music. No, just kidding. I'll probably hang around, but that'll be cool. So we'll see where that goes. So that is today's session, Talk Power BI. Talk Power BI Q&A. And again, once a month, we get pre-submitted. You can see the questions that are there, and you can vote for them too. And I really wish that voting was easier. It's a little tricky, but that's okay. That's okay. We're just trying it out. So there's a instruction card here, how to vote for a question. So I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go. So right now, I don't really. Some people voted for their own card, own question, and that's okay. That's good. That's good. You know, they found that, so I know it works. But you can help me prioritize it. So if we see 5, 10, 50 votes on something, obviously we're gonna go for that. So again, V2, but V2.0. We'll do V2.1 and 2.2 and whatever we go on from there. So that is today's session. So thank you for everybody who submitted their question. And holy moly, what happened here? Something went wrong with the tagging. Sorry guys, I'll check into that really quick, or actually after this session. But I have some other big announcements. So in a way, this is a thank you tour, thank you session today. And thank you for being my tribe, being the support around me. So I was talking to, so folks, what I'm referring to is I crossed this number, and hey, it's just a number, it's a nice round number, but what's for me is exciting are the people behind the numbers, which is you, right? Each one of them is a person, is a real person with their goals, with their dreams, and somehow this connects us with a thread. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for coming along with me for this journey. And I wanted to do something, and frankly, I've been thinking about this stuff for a while now, but I haven't acted. Actually, well, let me tell you what we're doing, right? So thanks for that, my friends. So we have a kind of a hashtag get program. You get something, and we have a hashtag give program, right? So because giving is sometimes the best way to get, right? So let me first talk about the get program, and you can just get to it by learnpowerbi.com/get, right? So this is actually also a version 2.0. So we have done this before. We have run scholarships before, and we got some amazing candidates. I talked to them when they joined, and yeah, I mean, I was so happy to get them on board. So these were and will be need-based scholarship. I'll talk more about that. But there was something missing. So now we're doing, again, V2.0, relaunch of this. And we're going to do scholarship and mentorship. So there are two flavors to this. One is that the need-based scholarship, right? If you're in some financial hardship, you cannot pay for a paid Power BI program, Learn Power BI, then selected candidates will get full scholarships. But there's also a mentorship element, which is open to both. So if you win a scholarship, you're included in the mentorship. But if you are a Learn Power BI student and you feel like you can go faster, you can get to your goals kind of faster, quicker, it increases your chances of success to have a mentor, then you have an option for that too, right? So mentorship and any so that's open for kind of like all Learn Power BI students, and scholarships, and that is need based. So let me go a little bit deeper on this. And again, just go to learnpowerbi.com/get, and you can get more information. So need-based scholarship, facing financial hardships. Obviously, we're going to have limited spots. This includes mentorship. I didn't really know how to word it, but it's there in the bullet point. So yeah, you're also going to be paired with somebody who can guide you in the journey. Well, we're going to up the stakes here. So one thing we saw was that the earlier candidates, they joined. I talked to them when they joined. They got the scholarship. Awesome. But then I didn't hear back from them. Not their fault. We just didn't have a structure. And that's why with the scholarship now comes with mentorship. So you're going to have a mentor who's going to guide you in that journey. And we're going to have kind of a graduation ceremony where you come on the dashboard makeover and present something you've done. And that's going to be a requirement. That's going to be a requirement. You have to do it. If you're in the scholarship program, right? That's what you're signing up for. Mentorship program, of course, is for existing students. So you're going to get a mentor who's going to guide you in a journey, right? But you also commit to the same thing, that you also commit that in 6 months you're going to come back on Dashboard Makeover and present your dashboard. Again, kind of V2.0 is this is the first time for this version. We don't really know kind of logistics, but we'll figure it out. Does everybody present it on the same Dashboard Makeover? Can one of them do in July, the next one in August? I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But that's the program there. And again, you can kind of click on that, and it opens. You can apply it through this. And of course, the first option is you just choose. Hey, which one are you? Are you applying for the financial scholarship, or are you an existing Learn Private student looking for mentorship? And then you have to kind of fill in your details, right? All right. So if there are any questions around that, let me know. But yeah, I mean, I think this is, I'm feeling really good about it. So that's the get side of things. Let's talk about the give side of things, because again, I mean, sometimes giving is the best way to get. I have experienced this in my life, that the more I've given, the more I've gotten as well. And yeah, I can talk a whole lot more about that, but let me just go to the program. So learnpowerbi.com/give. By the way, all of these are also, you can find it under free resources, and give it under there as well. I guess, I don't know if it's free. I don't know where to put it. All right, so it's there. So the scholarship and mentorship, that's the get program. This is the give program, and of course, pretty much everything I mentioned is there too. So folks, it started a while back, and basically I was in a skiing accident, and my tooth looked like this. But that was just for a few days, and it was fixed. Just a few days. I had to wait for my, I had called my dentist right after. So this happened on a skiing accident. I was skiing with my kids, and we were going over ski jumps, and it was a slushy snow day. It had rained or something, and the snow was kind of slushy, and maybe we shouldn't have been doing jumps. But the whole day went fine, and this was like late in the evening, 4 o'clock or something, and maybe that was our last run. And I go over one jump, and I didn't land it well, so I was a little discombobulated. Oh my God, word of the day! I'm so proud. On my second jump, and so going to second jump, and I landed really bad, and my skis kind of fell off, and they smashed me in the mouth. Well, yeah. So I freaked out. I totally freaked out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was bleeding on the snow. That's a freaky sight to kind of see that red blood kind of popping up all over the white snow. And boy, yeah, I called my dentist and all that. But again, I was fixed in a few days. But those few days were something else. It was as if my life changed. I was a different person. I wouldn't smile, of course. I would keep my lips sealed, and yeah, I mean, I didn't feel confident. I wouldn't hang out with my friends or colleagues. I wouldn't have lunch with them. I would just kind of go away, kind of eat in a corner with my broken tooth. So that was just for a few days, and I had heard about this. Like, I had heard about the Operation Smile and kids with the cleft lip, but I had never done anything about it. But of course, that kind of brought it home for me. Because for me, even for those few days, all I had to do was not smile, and nobody would really know that I looked like that, right? But these kids, their life changes, and I just saw a glimpse of that impact. Now, it'll make a great story to say that, oh yeah, I've been supporting them since then. But what happened is that I supported them then, that year, when I broke my tooth, and then I just fell off. And I do get their letters once in a while, and I just put them in the trash. But yeah, again, I have received so much from you guys, so it was time to kind of revive that. So, folks, what I'm doing is I'm committing to. I'm new to hiking. I started hiking last year, and I thought, why not connect it with something bigger? So I'm committing to climbing 100,000 feet in this year, which I have no idea if I'm going to be able to do, right? And again, so it's It sounds crazy, but hey, it was a round figure. So I'm committing to climb 100,000 feet, and my goal is to raise $10,000, which I'm not thinking about it in terms of money, which is exactly 40, well, not exactly, but 41 smiles. It takes just $240. I'm pretty sure my dentist bill was much higher than that for fixing my broken tooth. Medical costs can be higher, but so this organization, the one I'm supporting, is Operation Smile, and yeah, they do a very good job. So just $240 and 45 minutes, and you see this transformation. So yeah, so I would like kind of your support in that, and yeah, so learnpowerbi.com/give, donate smile, and you'll probably hear from me this all the time. All right, did I have anything else? Oh, Real Power BI. All right, cool. So last thing, Real Power BI. This is a way for us. Well, I'll just let you go to. Well, it is what it says. You can get Power BI Business Dashboard built for free. It's open for business users. You can go to just our homepage. Right now, it's right on our homepage. If you go to learnpowerbi.com and find more information and apply there. All right, so with that, let's switch over to the main event, shall we? The Q&A. Awesome. So let's see Q&A. And I'm not sure what happened. Did these get tagged? All right, so some of the new ones came in this morning, but I'm going to focus on the earlier ones. And let's start with, so if Dan, Chris, Rajat, or Juan are on the call, Juan, I see you on the call. Let's pick your question. Now, I know we briefly talked about this yesterday. All right, cool. Let's see. I want to timestamp it. See if we can track it later on. 9:21. Okay, so maybe we'll say answering. I don't know. Answered. All right. So Juan's question is which. Oh well, let's do this. So when is it better to use block measures or variables or measure X? And again, we got a chance to speak briefly earlier, but I'm going to recap some of that for our YouTube audience. So let's see. So block measures, variables, or measure X. So in this, what I see are apples. So block measures and variables. And if you don't have no idea what block measures are, or if you have no idea what variables are, we'll talk about that. So these are apples, but this one is an orange. Well, maybe I should have used a different color. But yeah, so this one is an orange. So I'm gonna call this out. Like there's, so you can say, oh, do I do this or that? This is a choice. But this one is something else. So let's cover measure X separately, and let's focus on that first. So what are X measures? X measures are basically sum X, min X, max X, average X, and so forth. And they're iterators, right? So iterators, that means they help you go row by row. Usually, DAX operates on a bunch of rows at once. That's how it works. So you say sum, and you say the stable column, and it just sums all of it. But when you say X, it's saying no, go row by row. And of course, the first parameter for any X function is, oh, well, cool, which table or sets of rows you want me to go row by row on. So you pass in that table, right? So that's your X function, iterator, and you use it to go row by row. When do you use it? Well, I'll admit that I go very step-by-step methodically. Some people may call it slowly in DAX, and that's okay with me. And what I do is I often write something without the X function. But in some scenarios, it's not going to work. So the example that I'm going to use is, I don't know where I should take notes. I was having a Word document here. Maybe. So, for example, let's say I'm doing sum of sales. Well, that doesn't need any X function. So I'll just say sum of sales amount, and boom, done. Now, what if I have a measure which calculates closing balance at the month end for a bank account, financial account, something like that, closing balance. And then I'll say, give me the average of the account balance. But if it just averages and I have data for every day, then it's gonna be a weird number. That's not what I want. I want to go row by row in each month. So I want to go January, what was the closing balance? February, what was the closing balance? March, what was the closing balance? And then average those. So you see how the shift is? And again, sometimes I would just write it without the X function, look that the answer is wrong. I was like, no, that's not what I want. And then I'll think through it and say, oh, because I need to go row by row. So that's X function, right? So you're going to say average X, go through the calendar months, comma, closing balance, and then average that. And the last thing I'm going to say on the average function, X function, is that I wish you could write them differently. So the formula that I just talked about would be written something like this. So it will be, I'm just going to, this is not quite right. You can't just say month, but let's say you can do that. Average X month, and then I say closing balance. Now, the way I always understand or think about X functions is this, and I really wish that you could write them this way. That would make things so much simpler, because this is actually how X functions work. So this thing actually comes last, and you can, even when I'm thinking about it, I think about it last. So I first say that, oh, I need to go iterate. For this to solve this, what I'm trying to do, I need to go row by row. So I start with X. That means I want to iterate, right? Again, in my mind, unfortunately, you can't write it this way. So I start with X, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I need to iterate, and then I say, what do I want to iterate over? Oh, the months. So I want to go January, February, March, all of that, right? Great. Oh, on each row, as I'm going row by row, what do I want to do? Oh, I want to figure out the closing balance. Oh, cool. So now if I go row by row, month by month, and figure out the closing balance for each one, what do I do with those numbers? Oh, you average them, dummy, right? So you see how it works? It comes in the end. So the beginning part, like whatever it is, sum, min, max, average, standard deviation, that actually comes in the end. It does everything before that, and then in the end, it does whatever comes before X, which is sum, min, max, and so forth. Now, of course, watch out. When you talk about X functions, there are some which do not have an X in them. Can you name those for me? Ooh, so let's quiz X function without the X. So I'm going to check back in the comments. I don't know what that is. Okay, cool. So we talked about that. So now let's come back and talk about block measures or variables. For this, let me see if I can manage to open a file. All right, so opening a PowerBI file. Let me glance at the comments coming in. A few more hellos. Let's talk about PowerBI, dude. Redline is anxious. Hey, I don't blame you. PowerBI is awesome. Tenacious Data is here. Greg Kramer, my friend. How are you? Skalina says hi. Employee strength. So, folks, okay, we'll take that into consideration. All right. Employee. Well, actually, what was the question? We might have it inside a course. That's an interesting one. All right, so let's come over here. So let's talk about block measures and variables. So block measures comes from, if you're part of my course or if you have watched our Power BI tutorial on my channel, then you know my approach where I say that I build things in Lego blocks. By the way, that applies for DAX measures, and that also applies for query editor. So it applies for both. And yeah, I go kind of step by step. So if I'm trying to write something complicated in DAX or trying to do a lot of complicated cleanup in Query Editor, I'll go kind of step by step and I'll say, I'll do this, then I'll do this, and then I'll do that. So what does it look like? It kind of looks like this. So we'll use a simple example here. So block 1 would be sales, which is, some sales amount. So that's one block. And then I have budget, and that's this guy. And then there is variance. So this is where we're starting to see blocks, and then I reuse measures, right? So you see how it's kind of being used like Lego blocks. Once I have those building blocks, I can reuse them. So for variance, I don't write the whole thing. I mean, I could say variance is, oh god, now sum of sales amount minus sum of budget amount, something like that. But no, I just reuse my building blocks. And of course, with variance percentage, I reuse that block that I just built it. Oh, I already have the variance. I'm just going to divide that by budget. So that's a Lego block approach. And of course, that's a simplistic example, but I use this for, kind of a lot more complicated stuff as well. So I build block by block. So that's one approach. And the other approach is variable. So let's see if we can kind of add that. So new measure. Who loves measures here? Okay. So we're going to say variance. Variance. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Variance percentage equal to, and now we are going to use variables. So I'm going to say var, and I'm going to say, what is my sales value? And that'll define a variable. And of course, you can assume that none of the building blocks are there. Let's say that. So this would be a different way. And then often when I do this, it's not done yet, but I'll say return sales value, right? Something like that. So I'll just kind of return it. And then while I'm working on it, well, I usually change the name a little bit just so I don't accidentally kind of leave it like that. All right, so that is there. And we have variance, oh yeah, in progress. Cool. So this should just be the sales amount, nothing special, but I like kind of checking it. All right, so 29.31 million, great. So variance percentage, now I go back to that, and I build the rest of the steps. And I often check each one. I might not do that for this video, so I'll say, okay, cool. Now I have budget amount, budget value. Sorry, let's just call it something different. Some budget amount. There you go. Right, and again, I'll probably just test it, budget value, see how it works. But for now, and I'll say variance value. Oops. And that would be, nope, so I'm using variables now, value minus budget value. Now, if you're seeing this, you probably realize that this is not that different from the Lego blocks approach. Variance, variance. Right, essentially we're doing the same thing, but is it different? Like, it looks similar, but is it same? Obviously it's not the same, but what are the pros and cons? So I want you to think about that. All right, think about that. I'm going to come back to that. But yeah, if you can already see, oh yeah, cool, I get it. I get how both of these work. Then I want you to think about what are the pros and cons. So variance percentage is going to be divide, and it's going to say variance the value, and divided by budget value. Okay, and then I return value. Okay, so let's do this, and let's go change this to this one, and then add the variance percentage, make it bigger so we can see it. Oops, not font. right, and I'll change that one to percentage. Okay, so now obviously they gave the same result, and the approach is similar as well. And let's try something more. So let's keep these two, put that in a matrix maybe. And oh boy, I'm trying to think. Let's do it by territory, country. So yeah, so you can see that, yeah, they returned the exact same result, which is good, which is not much of a surprise. But one approach was this building block approach where we define sales, and then we define budget and variance percentage, right? So, and again, I wish I had like a more sophisticated example for you, but again, I mean, that's the approach that I take even for solving much more complicated stuff. So either you can do block measures, block by block, or you can do this variable approach where you don't have to create those blocks. Everything kind of lives in here. It's still kind of a step-by-step approach, so they're similar. And of course, I approach problems this way. What would you say are the pros and cons? So I'm going to check in on the comments really quick. Wow, so more requests for videos. Focus, cool. We'll note that. We're gonna stay focused on our Q&A though. So no question came in. Okay, cool. Awesome. So on the phone, anybody wants to hazard a guess? Like, what are the pros and cons of the two different approaches? Okay, if you have an idea on YouTube, type that in. There's a delay, so I'll keep going, but I'll come back and check it. So the pros and pro or con, at least one, the one that I know about and seem to care about, is this. So let's say I build a report using one or the other approach, and I ship it out. Customers are using it. They're happy. But one of the questions or statements that if I heard in my old world, in the Excel hell where my stuff was spreadsheets and formulas and endless formulas and all that craziness, were these words: "Oh man, that data doesn't look right." Oh gosh, I mean, that would just ruin my day. I mean, you're like, what do I do? What do you mean it doesn't look right? You know, so yeah, because that meant, and of course, you would obviously hear it in like a management meeting, and the person is senior enough that you can't just brush it aside. Like, gosh, you know, and sometimes they were right too, right? Because a lot of things sometimes would break down. Now, of course, Power BI is more robust, but still, it's possible that once in a while you would say that, hey, this data doesn't look right. Well, and of course, for simple stuff like sum of sales amount, you know, it's pretty easy, right? But if it's something really complicated, and sometimes it can be like, oh, you know, like new or returning customer or da da da, something like that. So really think about a really complicated media scenario, which you have done, and it spits out a number or result, and then somebody says, oh, you know what, that doesn't look right. What do you do? How do you debug? This is where I feel that these two approaches are markedly different. Because if you used the block approach, the Lego block approach, and imagine that the person is looking at their Power BI dashboard on PowerBI.com. Right there, as you both are looking at PowerBI.com, you can say, okay, cool, let me take over. You can go edit that report in PowerBI.com and bring in the detail, right? So you could say, well, okay, cool. Oops, sorry, page 1. Let's go here. So let's change the font size a little bit bigger so you can see. And for now, oh, what happened there? Size. And okay, cool. So now that you can see it, and for now, I'm gonna actually variance percentage. I'm gonna change it to. This is not in progress anymore. So this is using variables. So I'm gonna remove that for now, and we're gonna focus on our Lego block approach. So if you did use Lego blocks, then you can bring those Lego blocks, and again, I'm not doing it in PowerBI.com, but you could. Right there on the screen, PowerBI.com, you could say edit report in the web interface, and you can say, oh, cool, so you're saying that number isn't right? Well, let's see what it's made up of, right? So, oh, that one is made up of. So we'll bring in, kind of the variance, and that, oops, sorry. Let's try it here. Variance, let me change that to a table. And so, sorry guys, hold on. I got this. Variance percentage, and then so I'm gonna say that is made up of variance, and that is made up of budget, and that is made up of sales. So whatever your Lego blocks are, you just bring them in. And I didn't pick the perfect example. Let's change territories to something else. I don't think we have product subcategory, maybe. Better. Okay, right, so you bring it in and say, and again, you don't have to like, actually you don't have to do any of the kind of the breakdown. And you can say, oh, well, yeah, I mean, this number you're saying is not right. Well, it is this, and you get to the point where you can kind of do the math, right? I mean, and so forth. And a lot of bit folks that sometimes this is so much easier in Excel because you can write a formula right there. And sometimes I do debugging in Excel. We'll save that later though, where I connect it to the Power BI model. Two ways to do it. You can do analyze in Excel or connect it to the Power BI desktop. Right, but yeah, so to set up, oh look, I mean, here's the math. I mean, and you can pull out the calculator and kind of validate it. This is this sales minus budget, and that is 636, and so you can kind of demonstrate it. And of course, sometimes you would find something like, oh, cool, man, oh my gosh, but sales is wrong, or sales is not what is expected. Let's say. So sometimes it is not about like right or wrong. Like who defines right or wrong? Well, it could be right based on data, but the data itself could be wrong, which you can say that is not in my control. That's garbage in, garbage out, that kind of stuff, right? So I generally don't get into that argument with the user. I was like, hey, is this? So I usually say, is this what you expected? If it's not what you expected, well, what number was it? Something like that, right? So let's say they'll say, oh no, this is. I know that we closed a deal and two additional $1 million came in for that. Then we'll go look for that. Like, okay, what is the deal ID, and say, oh, you know what? Yeah, I know you closed it, but in the system, the date was January 1st, not December 31st. Right, so you get the idea there. So you can right there kind of get into some debugging mode. So you can do this on PowerBI.com. Now, with the variable approach, you can't quite do it that way. What you're going to have to do is, so let's do the same debugging with a variable, and it just... it's kind of a different feel. So here, I'm going to remove these guys and bring in the one we used with variables. Ooh, did that work? It's not liking me. Oh, there we go. So if I have the variables, the typical one is that I do this. So I'll say, okay, now I'm going to not return the variance percentage. I'm going to return sales value. And when I mess it up like that, I always, well, not always, but I try my best to rename it so that I remember it, right? So sales value, and then I'll debug that. So I'll say, okay, well, is this number right? And of course, I have to turn off the percentage. Let's do general. Oh God, what happened here? That is not a percentage. It still insists on showing a percentage sign. Well, you guys get the idea. Okay, so yeah, so I would go in there and I would say, oh, what is step one? Sales value, great. And then I'll check that. I'll ask them that, is this what you expect? Is this right? Is it wrong? And then I'll go to the next one. So you can see that it's a little bit different. Now, of course, another approach with variables is that you can create blocks while you're debugging, right? So I wouldn't change this thing but then I'll create another measure which just has this sales value block and does it and so forth. So yeah, so that's the biggest difference that I've seen with the block. Actually, there's one more. So in this one, it feels like that the block approach does have a pro in this case. And I would say yes, it does. In this scenario, the scenario that I described, block approach can make things simpler. So what is a con? The con or the disadvantage of that is that block approach can well, the variable approach is much cleaner. So often with a block approach, you end up littering a model with lots of these building block measures, which by themselves are not useful. They're never going to be used. And this is not an example of that, because in this example, sales, budget, and all of that, they will be used as well. But often when I'm solving something complicated, I would build these stepping stone Lego block measures, which are never going to be used. In fact, I even often hide them from the reporting. You know how you can do this, where you can do this. You can say hide, and it hides them from the reporting view because, God forbid, I mean, those numbers often don't make sense. They're just kind of interim, and I don't want somebody to accidentally trip on it. So you can hide them from the report view, but still they show up in the model, and it's a complexity that even if your report builders don't have to deal with, you have to like sift through the litter of measures. So that's kind of the slight disadvantage of block approach. So as it happens with a lot of Power BI stuff, there is no kind of set answer. Sometimes I use one or the other approach, but now you know kind of how to choose. Ooh, that was a good one to get us started. So we will, I don't know, let's call it something else. Done, yay. Okay, so let's see. Do I see Dan, Chris, or Rajat here?
I'm on, Avi. This is Dan.
Hey. All right. Let's take that one. Hey, sorry if you were there earlier and I skipped over you.
No, I jumped in a few minutes late, but I'm listening
Oh,
in.
I should still have seen you. All right, so let's see what you were asking. So you're saying need to be able to iterate over data in a table and check a number of condition, plus call additional DAX measures, and once a specific condition is met, escape the loop and return a specified value. Working on a test file. Okay, were you able to put together a
I,
test file?
I didn't get data. Let me just walk you through. Maybe I'll do something pretty simple.
Yeah.
So essentially, I've got a set of services that somebody subscribes to,
Mm-hmm.
and those services fall under an aggregate group. So let's say they're television services and they fall under video. And I may have like three or four things that are related to video. And if any of those is true, then I just want to mark the subscriber as being a video subscriber and then exit and not search through all the other conditions.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if you can even put together a dummy data set. So there's a subscriber. Let's call it subscriber ID. Maybe
Yep.
we'll just do name for now. Doesn't matter. So John. Okay, so you have subscriber, and then they have different services. Is that right?
Yes.
Mm,
Because what I
and
don't want to do is hard code the services in my code. I
yeah.
want to be able to, as they change, just be able to go out, pick them, and search through them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I need
Let's
it.
do this, for example. Let's just put like HBO, Cinemax, and Showtime as the three services.
Okay. So John has these three, and okay. So are we?
And so
Is
then
that yeah? Mm-hmm.
what also has to happen is this has to be able to be put into a time series chart, a line chart, or a bar chart. But what I want to be able to do, so this would
Mm-hmm.
actually sit probably in two tables. There'd be a transaction table and then the subscriber table. But so
Yeah.
what would end up happening is there'd be an activate or a deactivate transaction
Yeah.
for any of these things. And then I need to be
Yeah.
able to loop over and say if he has any of these on this date, then he's active. But what I don't want to do is loop through all of them every time. I want
Oh, yeah. Oh
okay.
gosh. I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling this. So activated on. Oh gosh, I'm so feeling this. This is good. Deactivated on. Date maybe activation
Yeah,
date.
just to give you a little
Data.
idea how the table's structured, the data is all in one column, and then there's just a code that says activated or A or D, activated or add or delete.
That's a good one. So, interestingly, Eamon, and he wasn't able to join the call, but he had asked me a question very similar yesterday. And with that format, you could solve it. Pretty much anything is possible
I've been able
in
to solve it, hard coding the stuff in and using like an if statements or switch
no, no,
statements.
no, definitely
Not what
not
I want
hard
to do.
coding, but taking a data which is like like this. So let's say let's do some of these. Oops, didn't want to do that. Let's try this. So date, and this is like 1/1/2020, and this is one. Well, let's 1/2020, and this is I don't know 2/1/2020, and then Showtime got deactivated 4/1/2020, and Cinemax got deactivated 6/1/2020. Activate, activate, deactivate. Oh gosh, yeah, actually, so this is actually slightly different. So in his case, Eamon, I hopefully can get to your question too. In his case, you could what I said was just pivot the data, and you could go from this shape to that shape, but I don't think that's quite possible in your case because these activations and deactivations can have happen multiple times. So
That's correct. It could
you know,
happen hundreds of times because we
yep,
have maybe
exactly.
over
So
15 years.
yeah, so we don't yeah we it's not similar. I mean, oh gosh, that was feeling so good for a second because in his
So
case that made things much simpler.
kind of
But
where I was going was essentially getting a list of all the services that were video, so a unique list of HBO, Cinemax, and Showtime, and then essentially looping over, starting with one of them and saying, if it's active, then I can escape. Then I
well,
just
see, that's the
do.
thing. DAX as such, so the query editor has a concept of loops. It's kind of not your regular loop either, but it's like blows your mind the first time you get it. Oh my gosh, you can loop. But DAX, uh, it doesn't have like a loop. The best it has an iterator, which is go row by row, which I think we can do it. But yeah, so it takes a little bit of a mindset shift. So
Yeah,
so stay with me here. I'll try my best to work through this. So let me see. So Cinemax, let's do the same thing. So 1/1/2020, and then 2/1/2020, and then this one, let's say, was never deactivated, whereas Cinemax was let's switch these to 4/1/2020, and then 6/1/2020. Okay, let's go with that. Mm-hmm.
Then
I
so
mean,
the challenge would be if Cinemax was reactivated on 415, because that will happen.
yeah. I think we're gonna be okay.
Because essentially I have to look at all the transactions prior to the selected date. Well, think
Yeah.
about it. If I dropped it into a
Let's do
daily chunk.
something different. 8/1, just so, and maybe that one is still active too. Okay. All right, man.
So what I do is I get the last transaction for that specific service based on the selected date, and then I just look at what it is. What I haven't been able to do is figure out how to escape the first if the first one is active or how not to hard code them in.
Okay, let's try.
And if you need a data set, we can try this another day. I don't want to take you away from everybody if since I didn't get you a data set.
No, I think we were able to put something in. So, oops, didn't want to do that. So I'm gonna do um, enter data. Oops, did that work? Hmm. Huh. Paste. Oh, there we go. And delete. and this will be subscription, something like that. Okay, and let's edit.
Not the map type, I guess, but well.
Make sure. Okay, cool. So we got this. Da da da. Let's use first rows headers.
Right.
And looks good.
I guess I'm not sure if I know where everything is going. All right.
Okay.
Well,
That's good.
I don't have time right now to go. I don't have time right now to go. Like, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna save this file really quick. Save as. And folks, there's a way to get these files. Wow, this is the first time we're doing this in 2020. Exciting. I'm gonna say 2020 0228. Then this is subscription.
Well, I created maps of the type that I had originally put in there, and named them appropriately. And then when I went in and created these things,
okay, so let's put that there, and I'm just gonna say subscriber service activated on, deactivated on. Get that here.
right. All ones that I made the association now show up. That's exactly what I wanted.
So folks, I'm not able to. Sometimes I'm not able to solve stuff, which is okay. Well, what I've been told is that it's helpful to see kind of my process as well. So yeah, so I would think out loud at the expense of making myself look foolish sometimes, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. In fact, I welcome it. So this is the typical way that I approach. Now, of course, in a real data set, what happens is that the real data set is going to be really, really big. So I really filter down to something which I can kind of do visually or do it on my hand, or if I stick this in Excel, then I can do some math on the side, do things like that. So I narrow it down. So for, again, for heavy stuff, right? For simple stuff, obviously some sales amount, I'm not going to care. So I have this one, and then of course this is all date driven. So I'm gonna put the calendar on it, and I'm gonna do month year. And man, do we even have 2020 here? We might have to refresh our table. Wow, 2018, that's pretty old. Let's refresh this. Refresh table. All right, folks. So, hey, if you're trying to follow along, if you're just joining in, we are doing the Q&A. And if you go to my site, Talk Power BI, you can find more information about that. I covered that at the beginning. But the key thing there is that there's this link to the questions that were submitted. And you can, obviously, there's links to submit kind of your questions as well. And you can kind of see which one we're working on. So like, oh, what is this? What is Avi talking about? So we're answering this one, and you can kind of see the question there. All right, great. So we should have 2020. Great. So I'm gonna do a filter on year. Filter there. And basic 2020. Great. And that one, let's change it to a slicer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the slicer to this table. Edit interactions, don't filter that one. That's done. So, oh, I don't think those two tables are not related anyway. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. I'll take that back. Okay, cool. All right. So right now, so let's say, so again, so um, human learning. No, wait, machine learn. Yeah, human learning comes before machine learning, right? So first, I have to train the human how to do this. And folks, what happens is that as humans, we are pretty intuitive. So, and especially if you're in that subject matter. So actually, I have an advantage over Dan because I don't know what he's talking about, right? So that's the funny thing that when you're looking at your own data sets and that sort of stuff, then you already know it. You speed through it, and that's what humans do. I mean, we can skip through steps, but it actually helps to slow yourself down and dumb yourself down and go step by step. And again, that's where I have an advantage because Dan knows the stuff in and out, but I'm going to be, no, wait, I don't get it. What do you say? So I'm probably going to ask questions to Dan if I get stuck. So sometimes when you're thinking like, oh gosh, DAX is so hard, it's so complicated, I think it's the other way around. DAX is actually dumb. Most of the times, I have to dumb myself down. I have to slow myself down. I have to think in a very prescriptive, step-by-step manner because DAX is dumb, right? So it's the opposite of what you think. You're thinking DAX is hard, it's very complicated, but it's the opposite. You need to dumb yourself down, slow yourself down, and when you match the pace with DAX, boo, hallelujah, it's gonna make perfect sense. Like, oh gosh, yeah. So it's the opposite, mate. So machine learning. So I have to dumb myself down so that I can teach the machine. So I'm gonna say, so I'm gonna pick a date. I'm trying to pick a simple date. Maybe. Um, oh well, okay. Let's try. Let's try January. So if I said January 2020, I'm gonna go to this row, and I'm gonna say, is this active? Yes, it's active. What about this one? Is this active? Yes, it is active. And of course, I'm breaking it down a little bit more. Like, what am I doing? I'm comparing these two dates. Like, do these dates cover this range? What is that? Yeah. And then February to this one, that one is no. And then Cinemax is a no. And I know, so Dan, you would do this, and then you're really interested in, was there
Yes, I can't
one
really do
yes?
that.
And then I think what you're trying to find is there at least one yes? That's all you
Yeah,
care
we
about.
can't do that.
Yeah.
And here's kind of why. Because there's maybe 50 million rows of data. So what I do is I just get the max transaction, and then I just look at the max transaction versus.
Well, so you're telling me the approach. I'm just trying to find the answer here. So imagine I did this with each row, right? I said, is this active on this date? Is this active on this date, right?
But
But
how?
then what I understand is, then you say that did I get at least one yes? If I got at least one yes, then the subscriber was active, had an active video service in that date.
So that's the concept. The only nuance is I don't think I can pivot the data because for John for HBO I could have 50 transactions.
Yeah, and we have that too. We have Cinemax and Cinemax. So you can have 50 or 50,000 more. Doesn't matter. I'm going row by row,
Yeah, but
right, for
there's not
John.
necessarily a. How would I know there was a? I think it would be complicated to get the deactivated. So how do I know that the 4-1 was a
Oh
deactivated?
yeah, gosh, yeah, you're right, right.
You know what
Sorry,
I'm
sorry,
saying?
sorry. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Oh gosh, yeah. So sorry, I got lost there.
I don't know how I
Um,
could get that back. That was all.
oh boy, yeah, this is a little bit trickier. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that live on the call. That'll take some time. Um,
I can send you the code I used to do. The code I used to do it works, but like I
yeah,
said, the only challenge is I've had a hard code in the services, and that's not a real manageable way to go.
yeah,
So what I do is essentially is I get the last transaction for each service for
yeah,
each subscriber, and then I just look and see if it's active or deactivated. But
yeah,
I
mate.
don't want
Hey,
to hard
but
code the services in.
yeah, Dan, but I'm gonna be kind of upfront with you. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find time for that.
Okay, that's fine.
Uh, if you're open to kind of getting some quick paid help, I can definitely connect you
We already
with
did.
somebody good. Oh, really?
We just I submitted the question after I'm doing the what do you call it
Okay. Well, they should be able to help you.
they,
And
they, they hopefully will.
yeah, yeah, awesome, great. I mean, it's definitely doable. Uh, boy, but yeah, sorry. I mean, you obviously talked about this. I don't know how I got lost. I should have put this at the top, and yeah. Um, Let me see if I can at least get a framework of how that would be possible. So if it is like that, I obviously can't do that. Then what would I do? Man, that one is kind of tough. I really think that if you can prep the data in the query editor and add this column there, so query editor can do loops. Query editor, and I like query editor because it just works differently. It's step by step. I can see, examine what's going on.
Uh-huh.
DAX, almost you have to kind of think it all in your head. I mean, you can
Yeah.
you can do it step by step, but certainly if you. So I think in the query editor, that's what I'm. So again, I mean, just my gut feel right now is that if I went in the query editor and then with this structure, I just added a column. Say, oh, was it ever deactivated? And then the query editor, I search for this stuff and say, oh, HBO was never deactivated. Oh, Cinemax was deactivated here, and just kind of stuck that date here. I can see myself doing that in query editor. That wouldn't be hard. Yeah, I mean that feels like, yeah, well, that's totally doable. So that feels okay. And of course, once you have that kind of side by side, then it becomes really really easy, right? So then DAX becomes really simplistic. So yeah, this query editor and DAX is kind of a bit of a dance, and I love this dance, right? Because generally I say for beginners, I say, oh, well, query editors for clean shape transform, that's your kitchen, and that's where you should do that. And then DAX is where you do the numbers and all that stuff. But of course, once you step beyond the beginner, intermediate, advanced, you would see that there's a lot of kind of ebb and flow between the two, and there's a lot of it depends, right? I mean, I could solve it all in DAX or all in the query editor, which is all in the query editor, all in DAX. All in the query editor is usually a very bad idea because that gives you a static solution. It's not going to be dynamic if somebody changes something or asks what if questions, or which is basically, oh, what about this product, what about this category, what about this territory. None of that would work, and it's really hard. So that's, if you're for numbers, that's often not the answer. Sometimes it can be, but I think for this one, like I'm feeling more like a balanced approach. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is possible in DAX, but clearly uh, um, yeah, that's kind of a step above. So my recommendation would be that use query editor to pull that date, deactivated date here, and then go with this approach. All right,
Thanks.
cool. All right, folks. So yeah, sorry, a bit of a false start on my side, but yeah, but this one is pretty doable. Awesome. Let's go to the next one. And I don't know if I should count my fails and wins. Well, hey, I said there are no failures. If you learn from it, then yeah. So I learned to listen better, focus better. I don't know. All right, let's see if we have Chris Cools on the call. I don't see Chris. If you're signed in using a different name, happens. you know, Sometimes people like their spouse is using the Zoom, and anyway. So I don't see Chris Schools and I don't see Rajat. So we're gonna hold off on those. So folks who submitted their question, give me a shout out, and we'll see. So I'll pick one, and then I'll come back. And if your name is like something different, if your YouTube handle is, I don't know, ABC1234, then let me know what name I should look for here. Let's try this one. And I did look at this. So this one is going 1008. All right. So this one comes in from Abhishek from India. Awesome. And Abhishek is saying he's having some trouble with the Power BI data sources Google Sheets. And after the load, tables are blank, but they show 998 rows. And Abhishek was nice enough to send us some files. Let's take a look at those. All right, so these are image files. Let's walk through these. So he's doing get data. Got it. Get data from Sheets, XLSX, something. And an applicant, and I notice here that so I think it shows a preview of 1,000 rows, but it's only showing 13. So I'm expecting that this data applicant is only 13 rows. And by the way, guys, I did see it last night, so if I seem a little bit orderly, that's why. And this one, positions, even this one, it seems like a small data set. I don't know. I'm not sure about this one, but the applicant, I would say I'm pretty confident that it's only 13 rows. But if you go here and you can see the preview, you're seeing the data, and then you load it, and voila, you have all the columns and everything. But this is when things break down. Look at this. Like, what is this? Where's my data? What happened? And in this corner here, it's showing 1,341 rows. I don't know if you guys can see it. Now we can change the size a little bit. Yeah, so you can see, well, it's still a little hard to read, but you get that idea. Well, trust me. Yeah, so 1,341 rows, 998 rows. Mystery, right? And there was something about relationships, but I wouldn't worry about that. Let's separate the two. So sometimes we kind of connect those two things which are not connected. So these are separate things. These are totally separate things. Relationships has nothing to do with the data load. So I'm going to ignore that. You can, and by the way, you should probably turn off the auto detect of relationships. Unfortunately, it's not a global setting. Hey, if there's a Power BI idea out there to make it a global setting, let me know. I'll vote for it. Maybe I should suggest that idea. That'll be nice. Unfortunately, you have to turn it off on a file-by-file basis, which I forget. But say at relationships is it should be a thoughtful decision. It should be like, yep, I want this relation, and the default relationship is one-to-many, one-directional. Yeah, one-to-many, one-direction. That's a default relationship. Anything else, if it's bidirectional, if it's many-to-many, if it's one-to-one, if it's a dotted line, if it's an inactive relationship, man, you better be able to explain it to me, right? So I don't care about you breaking my rules. I mean, it's not a rule, it's a guideline, right? So the default should be this. But man, if I'm looking at your model and if I see stuff like this or stuff like this, the dotted line, that I'm going to ask you about that first. I'm like, hey, tell me about this. Why is it a dotted line? And you know what? The typical response that I get, why is it bidirectional? It's a shrug. There's a search me. And that is not modeling by design. That is modeling by accident. So yeah, don't be that guy. So in this case, relationship has nothing to do with it. Now, folks, short of getting access to the data, the best I can think of is, I think, and sometimes in Excel it happens like that, where you like, if I go Control End, notice that my thing stops here, right? But sometimes you would have like 1,000 rows, and I don't know, maybe it was an old formula or something like that, or something is there, and now if I hit Control End, there are lots of blank rows. So again, I can only guess what's happening since we're not live and we don't have access to the data. That I think that something like that has happened, that it has a lot of empty rows, and that's why the data is not showing up. Sorry, so that's my best guess. I can't think of anything better. I mean, I have connected with Google Sheets and stuff, and it hasn't been problematic. So look into that, but yeah, hopefully that helped. So let's go 921, 941. Okay, cool, awesome. So let's see if anybody chimed in the comments. Chris Cools is on. Oh, yay. All right, so Chris, yep, YouTube counts. So let's talk about that. And I'll admit, so Power BI versus ClickView, and I'll admit that I'm not at all qualified to answer this question, but I'll still try anyway. That never stopped me. Yeah, I don't think I've ever used ClickView. Now, of course, we have a lot of other folks on the phone. Maybe I would love to lean on that a little bit. So on the phone, have you guys used, any of you have used ClickView? Speak now, or I don't know, be silent forever, whatever they say. Okay. All right. Okay. So hey, if you have any thoughts, then jump in. Definitely on the phone. Would love to hear other thoughts as well. But let's. Chris did send in more details as well, so maybe I can tackle some of these. So currently we use ClickView, but started Power BI. Great. A few questions. In ClickView, there's an option to make a table with for example, dimension is salesperson, and two columns calculate the total of sales, but are dynamically filtered by different elements on the dashboard. Column 1 depends on the filter 1, which year can be chosen. Column 2 depends on filter 2, where also a year can be chosen. So in table 1, the user can decide which years to compare. Is this also... Oh boy, thank God. So I can definitely answer this part. And then he's saying, can column names be based on a formula? Oh boy, that is a feature begging to be added. That's a good one. Love that. What is the biggest positive and negative? I'm not sure I'm qualified for that, but I'll answer that anyway. All right, so I'll go. I'll take the easy one first. So this one makes sense. This one makes sense. I want to compare year 1 with year 2. That one's easy. That one's easy. I got you, mate. I got you. Here we go. Well, so, oh gosh, that I felt bad about this. All right, cool. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Duplicate page. And this one we're gonna say is our friend Chris compare to chosen years. So again, we have time intelligence is one of my favorite things, and time intelligence compared this year to prior year, but that's not what we want to do. We want to compare the years that they select. We can do that. But with a little bit of love. All right, we're doing it now, guys. So let's go to size and make it even bigger. Ooh. Oh, how big? Okay. Slower than usual, maybe because I'm running a lot of things. Okay, so that is sales. And then let's put a filter for year. Oh, year slicer. Oh, now it's happening. And we're going to change this to a list. Awesome. So if I select 2014, I can see that. If I select 2015, 2016, and I'm going to change this label here, so to call it year 1 or something. Let's make this a little bit bigger as well. So text size 15. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, cool. So and I'm going to call this. How do I change the header? Year, general, visual header. I don't know. Hey, who's ready for Excel-like functionality where I could actually click on this and the menu on the side was contextual instead of me having to like search and hunt and peck and stuff? That would be nice, right? That would be really nice. I mean, you clicked on the axis and now you have access controls. We're gonna get there. I know Power BI team is moving in that direction, but yeah, that'll be cool. So I'm trying to figure out. I might ask for help. So guys, yeah, I want to change this title. Maybe I change it here. Maybe I rename it here. So I'll call it year 1. Okay. All right. Year 1. But now we need in year 2. So we're going to bring it in year 2. We can actually duplicate this. And let's clear that. And this guy, we're going to call it year 2. Oh, I actually hadn't realized that there could be 2 ways to do this. Could there be? I don't know. We'll see. So sales and let me try. I don't know if it's possible, but okay, there we go. So I was thinking of a different solution, but I wonder if you can do this with edit interactions. So I'll say this one, edit interactions, does not filter this guy. Oh, so this guy, oops, does not. Why isn't it working, folks? Come on. So this one, I don't understand. Oh, that worked. So let's call this sales year 2. It's not ideal, I realize. And let's go to year 2. And I'll say, oh, I think these are too close or something. So year 2, edit interactions, and oh. Yes, I think they were really close. So this one becomes sales year 2. Okay. Wait, no, sorry. Year 1. Okay, and let's swap the order. And can I say this guy doesn't filter this, and this guy does not filter that? Boy, you know, all right, let's see. So 2014 and 15. Shoot. I expected it to work. It should work. So this one doesn't filter this one, but does filter that one. Why isn't it filtering? I'm not getting it. Oh, there's something. Oh gosh. Stay with me, guys. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go here. Do we now have 29 million? We do. Okay, at least that works. So if I say year 1, and if I select this guy, oh, there's something. I don't know. I'm about ready to ditch this. I mean, this wasn't my favorite solution anyway. Excuses. So if I click on this one, oh, I had it backwards. My bad. Fat finger. Does filter this, does filter this. Okay. Okay, let's try now. So if I say 2014, what happens? Okay, this one. No, okay. All right. Pilot error. And if I say 2015 for year 2, great. And of course, if I say 2015, then it's going to be the same. 2016. Okay, so we got it to work, but I mean, what a weird solution. That's a really weird. I mean, okay, it works. But the challenge is that they have to be different visuals. What if I wanted to show them side by side in the same visual? How would you do that? You can't do it. You can't do it with this approach. There's no way, right? You can't do it. If you want to put a table and you say sales year 1, sales year 2, right? Selected year 1, selected year 2. We want to trend them together. Why wouldn't, I want to see like a year-over-year trend. Why not? I want to see this trend. something like this. So this is sales versus budget, but imagine. So I say chosen year 1, chosen year 2. I want to see it on the same graph, the same chart, the same visual. How do you do that without this monkey? Well, I mean, you can't even do this with this monkeying around with edit interactions. So, folks, here's the thing. A lot of times I hear that DAX is hard. And, well, we already talked about that. It's actually dumb. Dumb yourself down. Dumber the better. All right, anyway. So, but I hear people saying, and this was like a respected somebody in Microsoft, for all places. No names. But yeah, so they were, a smart guy. But he said, I overheard him saying to somebody else. I don't think they would say it to my face if they know me. And say, I do everything that I can to avoid DAX. And by everything they can, this is the kind of the monkeying around stuff that often people end up doing. They monkey around with two things. Either the edit interaction, and guys, edit interaction is not fun, as you saw it, right? I mean, you know that question where that data doesn't look right? Oh my God, that was the bane of my existence in the old Excel hell world, where I had formulas everywhere and all of that sort of stuff. And that can still be the bane of your existence. And I feel like edit interactions, people get too crazy with like, oh yeah, this one filters that, but that one doesn't filter this, and so forth. And then if you're like, oh, that doesn't look right, you're gonna lose your mind. You're gonna be like, oh, get out of here, whatever, right? I mean, man, yeah, you might go postal. It can happen. Right? Just because it's not easy. It's not easy to kind of detect and like what was it turn out. And of course, the thing is, you're gonna forget about it. So you're gonna build a report, and then a month later, 2 months later, 6 months later, or even a month later, somebody says, "Da, you might not remember the specific that you did." So this one approach works, but for one, it's kind of a little bit of monkeying around, and two, it has this big limitation that I can't put them on the same visual. So the other thing that I was going to say was for DAX, for people who say, "Oh, I avoid DAX at all costs," what they end up doing is they use a lot of bookmarks. That's the other trick. But if you've used bookmarks, again, they get into the same world where, this if you click this, then it shows that. If you click, all of this stuff, and just to avoid writing some DAX, which is pretty dumb. So, all right. So let's see if you can solve it using approach B. Are you guys ready? Approach B. Raise your hands. No, I can't see you. Okay. So we'll say, Chris, take 2. So now we want to put them on the same visual. So sales year 1 is gone. Sales year 2 is gone. Oh, gosh. And we have this. Now, so here's the thing. Oh, gosh. I mean, it's obvious to me, but I'm trying to see how to explain it. So, of course, I've talked about modeling inside my free tutorial on my channel, which I hope most of you have seen, or the inside my course, of course. And I talk about data tables and lookup tables, right? And the data table is kind of the numbers, right? It captures basically a process. So it's a process and sales, but think about sales at the cash register goes ka-ching, and the money came in. What did they buy? Da da da, all of that sort of stuff. And usually I like that kind of sales, the ka-ching model, because often in the process there is a ka-ching, right? So imagine if you're using warehouse shipments, well then the truck leaving is the ka-ching sound. It's like, oh yeah, truck left. Okay, well what did they have? What time did they leave? Data, right? So warehouse shipments could be that. What was the tonnage? All of that sort of stuff. And any other process, that's a fact table. And then we have the lookup tables, which is the who, what, where, when, how of the of the data table. Sorry, data lookup, right? So the data table has that, and the lookup tables are who, what, where, when, how, and you use it to slice and dice. But if in the calendar I go and say, show me year 2015, with only one lookup table, there's no way I can say that, oh, but also show me 2016. I mean, differently, right? You can't do that. I mean, you can say, oh, show me 2015 and 16, like the total of those 2 years, right? But you can't say, oh, show me this and then show me that. So it kind of becomes like a parallel universe. You can't do that, right? It's not feasible, right? I mean, if I meet myself, if I travel back in time, I better not meet myself, because anybody who's read science fiction knows what's going to happen. There's going to be this big giant explosion, right? So it's kind of one of those things. We can't exist in the same space and time at the same moment. Cool. Interesting. Sorry. I've been geeking out these days. I've been rereading Brief History of Time, which I loved as a kid. All right. So hopefully you see it, that it's just not possible. So we just need to create another reality, another parallel universe. And that's simple as creating another calendar table. So I'm going to go do that right now. And let's do that. It's really quick. Of course, I hope you're using my ultimate calendar table. Yeah, why just use any odd random calendar table when you can use the ultimate calendar table? Okay, so, and I'm going to say new source, blank query. I have my blank query. I'm going to go into the advanced editor, paste, copy, paste. Oh, actually, I think I could have right-clicked and copied it as well. I didn't realize that. Can you? I think you can. I could have just done this. Hey, but that wouldn't have been half as geeky as just what I did. Okay, it's working. And I'm going to change its name, and I'm going to say calendar 2. This is going to be interesting. Ooh, this is actually going to be a lot of fun when it's done. Come on, you can do it. All right, maybe I'll speak ahead. Oh, well, there we go. So if you do have a copy of the table, then what I always recommend, and folks, this lesson has been learned the hard way, by falling flat on my face. So I want you to avoid that, which is always change the column names. Every single column name you have to change. So I'm not going to do that right now for the sake of time. I'm just going to change one. But again, you should change each and every one of those. And somebody actually showed me a quick trick to do that for all the column names. Really quick. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I can select multiple columns and I say add this prefix. That would be nice. Like change the column name by adding this prefix. I think there's a quick trick on that. But anyway, so change the column names, because otherwise you're going to go, something really bad is going to happen. Right? I mean, when you're pulling in month, you're going to forget that is it from calendar 1, calendar 2. You're going to mess it up. All right, I did. So yeah, change that. That's the only rule. To calendar 2, obviously the table name can be same, but then add a prefix, suffix, and so forth. And by the way, we already have an example of that here, order calendar, ship calendar. But that's a different scenario. That scenario is there because we had 2 dates in the data table. We had order date and ship date, right? Think of that as the lookup tables are who, what, where, when, how, but sometimes there are multiple who, multiple what, multiple where, multiple when, multiple how. Okay, I'll leave that aside. I won't go into that. But now we have our calendar 2. And of course, as I was doing this, I was thinking, like, does it need to be related to this? It does. It does, actually. So we're going to relate the 2 and order date to this date. And again, I should have ideally renamed every single column in this. Okay, perfect. So it should have been date 2, fiscal month 2, and so forth. But just do that, right? So, all right. So we have calendar 2, and actually, I'm still thinking through this. Actually, I don't think they need to be related, but I think the relationship needs to be inactive. Do you see that? Do you guys see that? It can't be active. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it can't be active. So let's play it out in our heads, right? So imagine if both of them are active, which they are right now, and this one says, oh, year is 2015, and this one says, oh, year is 2016. Well, if both of them are active, then this is going to filter sales to what, 2015? Oh, I could type it, I guess. And the other one is going to filter to, 2016. And if you apply both filters, which is basically just saying, year is 2015 and year is 2016, what is the answer? 0. There's no such date. So that's my theory. That's my hypothesis. Let's test it out, right? Let's test it out. So now we don't have this year 1, year 2, which was, not really year 2, was coming from the same table. So we have year 1 from calendar 1, and I'm going to add year 2 from calendar 2. Oh, how exciting. So we have 29 million, and this time, maybe I'm going to call it the real year 2. So we go to the calendar 2, and I'm going to get year 2 here. Make it work. Oh, gosh, what? No. Oh, God. How do I... Guys, this used to work, I swear. Changing the slicer, you could drag a field on it. Oh, but the challenge is if I delete it... Oh, it still stays? That's nice. It used to go away. It would delete the visual, which was silly because I had my formatting in there. That is nice. I think that's a change. Year 2, the real one. The real year 2. Don't... Are you confused yet? I hope not. All right. In the earlier one, we were just pretending, right? It was the same column. I just renamed it. You can rename the label that's shown. All right. So in this one, if you look at year 1, it is actually you can hover over it or click it or something. What did I do? You just see that. Oh man, come on. Oh man, I think it showed up for me. But anyway, well, you can see it right here. You can see that it is the calendar year, and the same thing with year 2. So right, so that was the thing with that. In this one, we are using different tables. So notice the table that lights up calendar 2. Right. So if I click this guy, notice coming from calendar. The other one is coming from calendar 2. Okay, so my theory is that if this one says 2015, this one says 2016, then the answer is 0. Which it didn't happen. Oh gosh. I don't get it. Wait. Oh. One of the filters is this. See what I told you about edit interactions? Man, it's gonna get you. It's gonna get you so bad. You're never gonna use it. Well, or you're gonna be very careful about it. This is the stuff, man. I mean, sometimes you copy stuff and you forget that the original thing had this monkeying around edit interaction, and you delete all this stuff and it's still there, and you're like, what is going on? And this is simple stuff, right? I mean, I have like simple AdventureWorks data in a complicated setup. It's gonna eat you up, mate. It's gonna eat you up like this. Look at that. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? And then of course people go in La La Land, right? So it's not modeling by design, DAX by design, DAX by accident. And my favorite things, what are your favorite things that you see in DAX? So I see, sorry, bit of a segue, but this is going to be a fun one for some of you. For who, if you're doing it, then, well, don't take it personally. All right, so here's the stuff that I do. See, and of course I'm going to take like a simple example, but I say, but I see this. And I see that, and I'm like, well, that calculate doesn't do anything here, do you? Right? And they're like, well, it wasn't working, so I thought I would just put a calculator on. And guys, in my training, I do call calculate the magic wand, but that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean, right? And then I see this. So then I see... And I'm like, well, why are you using SumX? You can just say sum of sales amount. And guess what? Same answer. It's like, oh, well, sum wasn't working, so I thought I would try SumX. So guys, yeah, come on. Give me a break, all right? So actually, you know what? It's okay. Hey, I've been on a journey too. I was really frustrated, I remember when I was starting out. But the good thing is you have help now through my YouTube tutorial, through my course, and the awesome Power BI community. right? So all of that. So, but anyway, my warning stands. Edit interactions, be careful. Don't use it to avoid DAX. Embrace DAX. Come on. All right. So now that that's working, so let's test our hypothesis again. My hypothesis is that it is not going to work, not with those post relationship active, because if I select 2014 here, it gives me that answer, right? And if I select 2015 here, it gives me that answer. But if I select both at the same time, my hypothesis is going to be blank. Who thinks I'm right? Let's see. Blank. All right. So yeah, I mean, I was feeling good about that one. I mean, it would have been super embarrassing if it didn't. No, actually, no. Why would it be embarrassing? It's all right. That's how we learn. Okay, cool. So we got 2015, 2015. We know it doesn't work. We know it doesn't work, and that was my theory anyway. So I knew it. That was my gut feel that, man, this has to be deactivated because then it's going to try to do both at the same time. I don't want both at the same time because both at the same time is meaningless. It's zero. It's blank. Null. So I'm going to deactivate it. So this is what I was saying, guys. That if I see a dotted line in a model, and if I see a bidirectional relationship, if I see a one-to-one relationship, if I see a many-to-many relationship, if when I ask you, why is it that way? Why is it not this classic standard one-to-many, one-directional, da-da-da? Please don't give me a shoulder shrug, all right? Don't say, oh, search me, you know, right? Have an answer. I was like, well, Avi, it's active because this is what I'm trying to do, and if I make it active, it bloody doesn't work. That's why it's a dotted line. Okay. All right. So now we're ready to solve. Now that that's there, now we're ready to solve. Now, of course, since it's a dotted line, since I deactivate the relationship, well, this thing works. So 2014 was 7 million, 2015 was 5 million. Well, I don't know what's going on. I thought AdventureWorks went like, whoop. Yeah, they went up, up, and up. I don't know if there was a dip. But 2016 was a good year, right? So, hey, guys, 16 million. So that's working. But, of course, so I'm going to clear this filter. This is not in play. Since it's inactive, this is not working at all. But that's where we calculate. Yes, it's the magic wand. It can do anything and everything. Man, it can solve world hunger, make you coffee, and more. All right, so yeah, man, Dax, you're the king. You are the king. So Dax, it's so easy to flip relationship on and off. So of course, folks who've done this, who know this, they're already a step ahead of me. It's like, Avi, done, solved. I'm checking out. Actually, don't check out. We'll do more questions after this. All right, but let's do sales year 2. Are you guys ready? Let's do this, and I'm actually gonna make a separate table for the special measure, and we're gonna call it I don't know, formulas, plural, singular. I go back and forth. Like, is it orders table, plural, or is it order table? I don't know. I prefer singular, but somehow I end up naming it with a plural version. Like, is it customers, plural, or is it customer? Which one do you vote for? Yeah, let me know, guys. All right, cool. Let's see. So formula, we have that. We have that in action, and I'm going to hide this column later on, but we're going to do a new measure, and thank you, Steve. All right, and we got sales year 2, and we're going to bring out our magic wand, calculate. What are we calculating? Well, we're still calculating sales. So right, so the calculate, just it's like you're asking directions from Bellevue to Seattle. So that's still the question that I'm asking, but now I'm telling Google Maps, do not use toll roads to avoid highways. You guys have used those options, right? You know, yeah, if you're not, check it out. So Google Maps, and I'm sure Bing Maps or Yahoo Maps, is that still around? Apple has its own thing. So anyway, so you're asking the same question, but differently. So that's what calculate does. So I'm asking the same question. I still want the same number. So I don't have to write anything special. I'm saying calculate sales, but, you know, kind of in a different context. But with this, so what is my but? That didn't sound great. But calculate sales and but with the other relationship active. Oh my God, this is actually gonna get tricky, guys. This is not gonna work either. Actually, shoot. Okay, let's try it. It's I'm not feeling it. Calendar 2. Oh, calendar 2. Oh, let me just say year 2. Year 2. Okay, I'm getting it. Man, that question, I think gets like a gold star. Use relationship, that one, and okay, here we go. Hypothesis is not going to work. Oh, of course, sorry. So yeah, so that was not the right way to do it. Not year 2. Year 2 is just a column I'm using. This one has to use the column used to create the relationship. So now it's going to be happy, I think. Yep, looks like happy. And I want to hide this column. That's just a dummy column. Sales year 2. So my hypothesis is that we're back to square one. It's going to be blank. I tried, guys. Okay. Okay. So right now it's working. There are no filters. And if I select year 1 is 2014, yeah, you see the problem here right away. That the other filter is still active. So again, if you select 2014-15, if you're back to square one. So so one way to do that is to deactivate that relationship too. That's not too terrible. Yeah, so if you have a main table, kind of deactivate the relationship, but then you would have to, for every calculation, you would have to activate it. I would probably say that you need to bring in another kind of a calendar 1, calendar 2, and do it that way. Let's do that way. Let's bring us home. And I feel like there are a few different scenarios. So if there is a DAX, in DAX, if there's a way to turn a relationship on, that's my question to you guys. Like a real question. I don't know the answer. If DAX can turn a relationship on, why can't it turn a relationship off? Help me with that. Tell me, what is a DAX command? I don't really know. It's not like a quiz or something. I have never done it. If I could tell DAX to turn a relationship off, then I wouldn't have to do what I'm doing right now, which is to copy paste this one. All right. It's happening. Just hold on. It's brewing the magic. Magic being brewed right now. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I can change this. I don't have to wait for it. What was I doing? And close and apply. All right, so we're gonna. I know this is gonna work. This is gonna work, but I'm still thinking about that. Is there a way in DAX to turn a relationship off? If so, that would be awesome. Okay, here we go. We're doing it. And order date to this date. And again, you should have renamed every column. Looks good. And we're gonna come back here, and I'm gonna go to this year 1, and I guess we needed a real year 1. So we're gonna go to calendar 1, take this out, and put year 1 over there, and I'm gonna rename it. Oh boy. And now, just like we have sales year 2, we need a sales year 1 as well. So new measure. So Chris is looking at all of this, and I'm like, man, I'm sticking with ClickView. This is crazy. Well, we'll talk about the comparison. I mean, Power BI has its own stuff, and frankly, what I really feel is that it's not a choice. It's not an either or. It's silly to think about it that way, and organizations which are thinking about it that way are doing themselves a great disservice. Like it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt their company. All right. Might as well fish out the gold star while I'm talking about this. So, folks, yeah, I'm not. So we used to take notes in a Word document. Didn't do it this time. I'll probably go back and kind of update it because that has timestamps. So yeah, if you really want to geek out and stuff. So one of the strategy, which actually I first heard from Charles Elwood, was that he went back and he went back and watched the starred questions because those are really good ones. And I think there's some criteria somewhere for a star. Oh shoot, I thought it was in the top, but let's do it right here. So this is 28, 2020 Q&A, and I'll grab that star. Ooh, I could have done stickers, I guess. That would be nice. Oh, yay. That's fancy. Actually, no, that looks kind of weird. Oh shoot, I didn't timestamp this one. Sorry. Okay, cool. So let's come back here, and not here. Let's bring us home. So sales year 1, we have that, and I'm going to take off sales, bring in sales year 1 over there. Oh. And my theory is that it's just going to work. Let's test it. Okay, so yeah, let's just go for it. 2014. Oh, what happened here? Okay, can you guys see what I missed? I missed deactivating that relationship. Because again, if that stays active, then it tries to do like an AND. It says, by the way, if this is confusing, so again, DAX, you have to dumb yourself down. Then in my course, look at the DAX I can. It's in the course in a little bit more detail. It's on my YouTube channel as well. Search for I can. Let's see if this works. DAX I can. It definitely works on YouTube if you go to my channel. So DAX, oh, perfect. So DAX I can, and I can is as in an acronym, but also a statement. What I'm trying to tell you is that, guys, I'm not like extra smart. I wasn't born with the DAX gene. Nobody's born with the DAX gene. If I can do it, so can you, right? That's what I can is saying. So if you find those videos, actually, you don't have to hunt for them. So the good stuff, by the way, if you're on my channel, of course, well, the real good stuff is inside my course. No, just kidding. Well, yeah, it does go into more detail, but yeah. So the DAX I can stuff is right here. All the good stuff is right here. Well, as it says, my best videos. And thanks to Marianne on our team, who anybody who's in a Learn Power program knows Marianne. So she organizes stuff, put up the best stuff right here. Otherwise, it was hard to find. So this is the I can, and that's what's going on. So when I say, oh, I mean, it's obvious that this is not going to work. Well, it's not really obvious. Again, at some point, I had to dumb myself down to think about it this way. Is that, oh, what is the incoming filter context? So again, if you're stuck and you're like, oh my God, why is it blank? why is it not working, is just 4 simple steps. So again, as I said, DAX, you have to dumb yourself down. So if something gives you like unexpected result, as I was getting earlier, where it's like, oh shoot, it's blank, and you don't understand it, just go back to this dumb steps. Because again, DAX is very prescriptive. It's not like us humans, intuitive. Step 1 is I, which is detect the incoming filter context, and the video talks about that. C is calculate, the magic wand does its trick. A is apply relationship, and is do the numbers. And that's exactly how it works. So if you go step by step, it's like, oh, cool, what is the incoming filter context? What is calculate doing? Okay, now I'm going to apply the relationships, and that's going to transmit the filters. And now I'm going to do the numbers. Oh, the number is blank. And now I get right. So you're going to get it that way. But yeah, now it works. Okay, whew. So now I think it's my time to, defend the honor of Power BI. Who's with me, mates? Pick up your swords. Pick up your sword. It's time to fight. Let's do it. So I'm gonna shred ClickView totally. No, not really. So I'm gonna come back to this one, but let's talk about this one. What is the biggest positive and negative? And I'm not really sure what is the best way. So we were using the Word document, but now we're kind of using Trello. We're gonna figure something out. Heading 3. Okay, so we go heading 3, and this was, I don't know when. We talked about ClickView. I think their name is like really Click now, at least the company's name. Click versus Power BI. 2-year filters to compare selected year. So that was one, and that one got the gold star. Might as well put it here as well. And then this one, let's start this guy. So this one is 10:56. Time flies when you're answering Power BI questions and having fun. Click versus Power BI. Yeah, let's take it head on, right? So Click versus Power BI. This is good. I like it. Where do I start? So let me start by saying that it's not an either or. And again, maybe you didn't ask about it that way. You just want to compare the features, which unfortunately I can't. So I have to answer something different, right? So I'm going to say it's not either or. It's not either or. The world that I see is this. So for those in IT, they're familiar with this shift. Actually, everybody's familiar with this shift, which is bring your own device. So, first, what happened is company handed you Blackberries. You could not bring your own device. They gave you a bloody device. And who remembers the hip holsters? Huh? You would also do duels. You had to see we would stand face to face, and on the count of 3, you had to pull out your BlackBerry and send a message to somebody or something like that. And of course, the fastest won the duel. So so you had the hip holster, but most people had not 1 but 2 hip holsters, because you had your personal phone, and then you had that company thing. Now, of course, that's silly, and of course, so now the second generation of that is that you bring your own. And this also means that, of course, some of you who were at Microsoft or not at Microsoft may remember or know or have heard of this episode where Steve Ballmer pretended to grab somebody's iPhone and smash it. He didn't actually do it. But yeah, as if saying that iPhones were not welcome. But of course, that's not really the case. In Microsoft, an employee joins, they don't bloody care what phone you use. They don't care if you use iPhone or whatever, any of the Android, Google Pixel, blah. They don't care if you still use BlackBerry. Well, actually, I don't know. That might still be a problem. But they say, yep, we don't care. Bring your own device. So visualization. Companies are still in the first phase. It was like, we'll hand you the Viz tool. and that, so whatever, there's a corporate standard. Oh, we use Tableau over here. Tableau is great, but kind of saying that is, what does that mean? Oh, we're a click shop. What does that mean? Oh, we Power BI, we do everything Microsoft. That's weird stuff, guys. Come on. That's the same as handing out Blackberries. That's just silly. I mean, yeah, let's get over it. And we're gonna say, bloody, bring your own visualization. We don't care. We couldn't care less. Now, how does it work? The way it works is that the model is the heart of everything. You can't bring your own model. Well, I guess you could, but let's not talk about that. So somebody, a few people, a few handful, actually it's going to be us guys. We are the elites if you're ready to step up in that role. And by the way, stepping up in that role is not just about learning the technical stuff. If you want to, if you, and of course, if you want to know more about this, that's kind of the reason why my Pro Plus program was born, right? Because I saw the technical stuff doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't there's very little, or I would say no correlation with success, because I see a lot of people who are very technically skilled not going anywhere. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? Right? So, and it all starts with that question. And so I've been on this journey for the past 2 years or so. I was like, well, I wanted to solve that because I want to really change people's lives. Not just, oh, I taught you DAX and good luck, right? And then you're still cranking away reports in the data dungeon. Nothing happened. How do you get this breakthrough success? So that's the journey that I've been on, right? But yeah, so those folks who are going to step up, who are going to be the superheroes, and that does not mean technical knowledge. Of course, you need it, but that's not the key factor. So we're going to own this world, and we're going to build these models. And once the model is built, though, then you can connect any visualization tool to it. So I'm going to host my model in Power BI, and if you want to connect Click to it, go ahead. If you want to connect Tableau to it, go ahead. Of course, you can connect Excel, you can connect Power BI reports to it, but the model lives kind of a central location, and then people bring their own device. Same way, I guess, how, so the company, what the company now does is they manage that email server, Exchange, Online Exchange, whatever it is, Office 365, and then, well, the employees can check an email on any device. Same way, I mean, we're going to maintain the model, but we don't really care which visualization tool you use. So if there are some, finance wizards who love using Excel, please use Excel. And that's the other big thing people get into, where they feel like Power BI means moving off of Excel. Silliest thought ever, right? So use Excel. If there are folks who love the Power BI visualization, use Power BI. Oh well, if I could spell Tableau. If there are some kind of data geeks who love Tableau and can do magic with it, please use Tableau, right? Because we're not. Nobody wants to go back to this world. But that's what we insist on for visualization. Silly, guys. Silly. Just silly. Let's just stop it. All right? So BYOV, bring your own visualization. That's the model. So again, it's not Click versus Power BI. Use both. Use all of them. Use whichever makes sense. Okay, now what I will say is that model is the king. I don't know what to write. Is the advantage of Power BI is that, so again, not knowing Click for you, I do have a comparison video with Tableau, but not with Click, because I've never used Click. So for one, I feel it very approachable to the business user. And of course, somebody who's struggling with DAX may disagree, but again, guys, I mean, frankly, DAX, you all may not agree with this, but DAX is more of a mindset shift than anything else. Right? So yeah, you gotta kind of shift that in your mindset. And it's like, oh, until you keep saying DAX is hard, it's gonna be hard. All right, so if I could do it, you can too. So approachable to the business user, and this bridge with Excel. And Excel is kind of the ubiquitous BI tool. It's not really going to go away. I use Excel all the time. Bridge to Excel, and it has a lot of scenarios which makes Power BI and Excel play well together. Well, I mean, it has kind of other merits too. So so cool. Let's kind of stop there. Can I say anything else? So if somebody is talking about, so yeah, folks, if you have any thoughts about ClickView versus Power BI, Click versus Power BI, let us know. Let Chris know. Um, okay, cool. So let me address the last part of the submitted question really quick, which is, can column names be based on a formula? As far as I know, this is not possible. This would be a great idea, and that's one thing that is great about the Power BI team. I don't know how it compares with other tools, Tableau and so forth, but they're listening, and that doesn't mean that you're going to submit something and like, oh, next week it's done. Obviously, because they're listening not just to you, but to everybody, right? I mean, when we submit something, it's like, that's priority one for me, but well, they have to look at everybody's priority one and kind of figure that out. So there might be, what is that? There might be, gosh, yeah. So you can see the label here you can edit, and you can have different label, but it is cannot be right now formula driven. Now, of course, Power BI team has done a lot of stuff to make things formula driven. For example, the color of something, right? So I can go to this graph and I can say data color, and notice that it is a function, and this can be driven by a measure or anything else. If they can do that for color, they can definitely do that for kind of column label. Why not? But as far as I know, it's not there. I don't see any option here to say, yep, rename based on a formula, but it could be. So I would suggest that go to ideas.powerbi.com and submit that idea, post that here if you're quick, and then we can vote for it. I'll vote for it. Yeah, so that's it. Whew, man. So I'm getting quickly aware that we will not get through all the questions, and that's for folks. I would say that please vote, and again, we're gonna try this, see how it works. But yeah, you can help me prioritize the questions that are more interest to more people by voting for it. And again, if you go to learnpowerbi.com/talkpowerbi, which is under free resources, Talk Power BI, then all the way at the bottom, it has a link to pre-submitted question. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to paste it here as well. Submitted questions. Please vote. So if you see something interesting, vote. Okay, so we got that. That's done. Whew. All right, I don't see Rajat on the call. It's great. So let's see if anybody gave a shout out that they submitted a question. What is the next webinar? Thank you, Steve. There's Sue is here. Hello, I see you, my friend. Jen, let's say Jen. I don't know if search cards. Okay, so I think Jen was just saying hi. All right, yeah. So, but Dursu. Oh yeah, there we go. I found you. Okay, Mikola, I see your question. We're gonna first prioritize the pre-submitted ones. We're gonna figure out this platform. So of course, folks, the whole idea of the live is that we leverage the live, right? I mean, otherwise I could do this as a recorded session and so forth, and but yeah, I'm gonna figure out. So by the way, what we have done for our calls within the class, and so with the pro level, with the advanced Power BI level, we do that, and the way we do it is we're gonna take one pre-submitted question if you're there, and then we switch, and then we say, oh, and then we're gonna take one question with just kind of live, and that would let me answer your question, Mikola, right? And then come back to pre-submitted question, and then do that way. That way, there's kind of more interaction. Live people are not just waiting. Actually, you know what? Let's just try it. So let's just take Mikola's question, and I'm just gonna stick that in. So I'm gonna stick that in over here. Let's see if that works. Mikola's Stewart. How to connect Power BI to Excel. Hey, that wasn't too bad. How do the names of the first at the end? Oh, they're at the end. Okay, folks. So I say it's official now. Let's kind of try it that way, right? So that way I can kind of answer live questions as well. You guys just not like waiting, you know. So so this one. Oops. I'm gonna copy that again. So you're talking about connecting Power BI to Excel. Can you do that for us quickly? Oh, once you. Oh, I was actually talking about the other way. Power BI to. I was actually talking about connecting Excel to Power BI during debug. So I hope you're asking about that. Maybe that's what you meant, right? I mean, one to the other. So what I was talking about is connecting Excel to a Power BI model. Now there are two ways to do it. One is analyze in Excel. And I don't really understand why it is, as far as I know, a paid feature. I don't understand. I really don't understand. I mean, obviously, I should probably ask somebody, and I should ask the Microsoft folks. Well, I don't think I would like the answer. So when they simplified, anybody here who remembers when they simplified the licensing scheme earlier, sharing used to be free. That was kind of nice. That can help grow a software in like a very viral way, right? Because people love to share. And now sharing is paid. So that's what they said. We're simplifying it. Earlier there were these rules. If you're doing this, then it's paid. If you're doing that, then it's free, and all that sort of stuff. There was a set of rules. But now they said, oh, if you're sharing, it's paid. And now, of course, it's still a little more nuanced. But in my mind, analyzing Excel is not really sharing. It's just me using my stuff and analyzing Excel. But it's paid. So, but hey, it's just $10 a month. So what you can do is you can go to your model, data sets. Did it work? Oh, and where's the my workspace? Let's go to that one. Yeah, there we go. So data sets, and here there's analyze in Excel. So not sales manager report. Let's try our trusty Adventure Works, and you say analyze in Excel, and it connects it to the Power BI. And of course, hey, I love Excel. So basically what's happening in here is you're using Excel as a visualization tool. And a table is a visualization. Pivot table is a visualization. One of the very effective ones. If you really want a pivot table, man, you really want a pivot table. You know, none of that matrix stuff and so forth, right? So so none of that works. And there we go. So yeah, so you can have obviously pivot tables, pivot charts, and again, now it's just a visualization tool. It's a dumb tool because the smartness is all already built into the model. The relationships, the DAX measures, everything, right? Everything. Relationships, DAX measures, all of that is built in. So you can take a measure and then slice and dice it any way you want, right? So you can say, you know, give me a product hierarchy by territories and all of that stuff, right? So, and of course you can build charts and all that stuff. So that's one way to connect Excel to Power BI. The other one is a hack, which I often use to debug. And for that, I like using DAX Studio. There are other ways to do it, but and the only reason I'm using DAX, so basically, so guys, Power BI desktop is actually still running like a server which hosts your model on your machine, and it's the version of the same server that runs on PowerBI.com, and it lets you connect to it. But this server is a little different. and yeah, let me just connect to it. For one, it can run on like basically a different address every time. So that's the address that I'm looking for. So this one is localhost 51135. That's the address. And now I want to connect to that server, which is running on my machine, right? And of course, then you don't need PowerBI.com. It doesn't need to be paid. So what I'm going to do is say data from get data from analysis services. Yes, I think. And oh, not that. Localhost and 51135. Yes, 51135. And that's it. And you just click next to a bunch of things. And yes to all of that. And that is going to give you a pivot table. But this pivot table is connected to my Power BI desktop. And notice you can see all the stuff that I was built there. But again, same idea, right? So those are the two ways that I connect Excel to Power BI. Both are pretty amazing. There is an Excel add-in, Power BI add-in, which makes doing this stuff, the analyze in Excel, the first thing I showed you, a little bit easier. Basically, you don't have to go to PowerBI.com to initiate it. You can initiate it, start it, right here in Excel with that add-in. Oh, man, I forgot to timestamp it. Let's make an estimate. That was maybe 10 minutes ago, 11, something like that. 11 something. Okay, so we got that one. Oh, and let's add it here. And let's see, what were we going for next? I think somebody, Dursu, yes. Dursu, hey, if you're still on, let me know. Okay, and I'm still thinking about the process we use. Like, do I? Oh, there we go. Okay, whew. Okay, this is a soft one. No DAX involved. No, just kidding. We love DAX. But I could use a bit of change of the pace. So it's good. The best way to manage a Power BI client. Hey folks, on the phone, I'm going to mute you really quick. You can obviously unmute if you need to jump in and share something. Dirsu from Sinaloa, Mexico. And he's asking, best way to manage Power BI clients. If you have a few Power BI partners, what partners, I'm going to go with clients, right? So I'm assuming, yeah, I mean, Microsoft used the same word interchangeably. So I'm going to assume you using the same way. So we have a few Power BI clients with different data sets and reports. We want to centrally manage their reports and data sets, but obviously partner A can't see data of partner B. So we also want to isolate each partner from each other, but now we cannot afford a premium license. This one is good. This one is good. Let's take it back over here. And man, I mean, I think the Word document, we'll still keep it. Okay, so we have that. All right, guys, we're gonna end at noon or earlier, and we're gonna have to think about how we prioritize questions or tag team. This is good. This is new territory. What if we answer some of them offline? Like I just sent, I don't know, posted on my channel. I'm trying to avoid email. And yeah, so how can we answer more questions? And certainly what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my Pro Plus members and say that, hey, would some of you be interested in kind of tag teaming on this? Because, you know, I mean, helping somebody else can kind of help you. It can refocus on the fundamentals and so forth. So yeah, just to give you a heads up. So best way to manage Power BI clients, and I'm going to paste maybe this thing as well. Okay. So here we go. Oop. So I'm gonna, so just for my mind, I'm gonna say we want to centrally manage the reports, and there's also, yeah. This one is pretty easy. Here's what I do. So let's say my consulting firm is Contoso. Well, actually, you know, hey, by the way, we do consulting as well. And for the most part, now it's the, well, actually for almost 100%, most of that is through our amazing Pro Plus members. So if you need consulting help on a paid basis, then just hit contact me and just send us a quick message through that, and we'll get back to you and we'll connect you with somebody who can get you the results. So we do consulting, but now we have multiple clients, and let's say, so I would assume, I would make some assumptions that your clients are in the same domain. So let's say we have, may or may not be the case, I think it will still work, but let's say, what I do is I service car rental agencies. And those who are in the Pro Plus program or have heard about it or seen my webinar, they know that I talk a lot about kind of niching down. And the more niche down you get, the more powerful you become. Where did it go? Oh, sorry guys, I'm trying to find the chat. And what was I looking at? Sorry. Oh, there we go. All right, awesome. All right, great. So I talk about niching down. Let's say we're niche down and we service car rental agencies. And yeah, they're maybe using Microsoft Dynamics, so the data kind of looks alike, and we want to kind of host the data and reports on a central place. We can do that. And so what I would do is I would set up a separate domain name, learn Power BI clients, something like that, right? .com. It's $10 a year, really cheap. $10 a year. And then I'm going to create Power BI accounts for my clients. And so premium is $5,000. That's what, 5,000 plus. That's what Dirsu is trying to avoid. So create Power BI client for accounts, give them a pro license, which is $10 per month. Now, obviously, if you have 500 clients or clients have multiple people who need access, well, then go with premium. You're going to be better off, right? But if you have a handful of clients, now you can always switch to premium later, right? A handful of clients, let's say 5 clients. Well, that's, if it's 5 clients, that's 5, that's just $1.50, which is, much less than 5,000. So you give them a pro license, and that's it. You kind of publish the report, and you can have kind of workspaces and to control access. And the only trick that I use here is I don't say anything to them about pro license or any of that sort. All I say is something like this. Hey, your report is ready. And I'll say link, and I'll put the report link, and then I say use these, use the link and login below. I'll say something like your report has been published to a secure area. Basically, you see what I'm doing here, I'm dropping a hint, right? Secure area, and then if they say, oh, need to log in, right? Otherwise, if the hey, report is ready and here it is, and like, why do I have to log in, right? I was like, well, don't you want it in a secure area, right? To a secure area. So I'm always kind of cluing them in. So I say, hey, your report is ready. It's been published to a secure area, and they want that. Like, yes, I like secure area. Oh, use the link and log in below. So I say, and then I'll say, user password. I say nothing about pro or the licensing. They don't care, right? They don't care, and that's it. So that's it, mate. That's and I think that's that's brilliant strategy. Okay, that was good. Too short. All right, let's say. So let me know if that worked. All right, what do we have? Narayan, how to write Power BI data. Narayan, did you send that in? Huh. I think you did. Let's see. Oh, dang it, I can't find you. Well, somebody did. Somebody did. Oh, Stacy. Stacy, you're not live. What is happening? Let's go with that. So again, folks, if you submitted a question and are live, let me know. Hey, but you go to this board, and again, the board is linked to the, I send a link in the email. You should have gotten an email saying your question is submitted, and you can go to the Talk Power BI page, and I think I posted a link to the board earlier as well. You can go to the board and send me the link. It's like, Avi, take this question, and you can paste that link in there. So that way I'll know you're there. Otherwise, if again, voting I think is going to really help us out. But it's okay. We'll try, see how it goes. So when Narayan is asking, and it was sent in as well, and I think it's similar. So Narayan is asking, how do I write data to Excel? Yes, boy, uncanny. Narayan and Stacy connect with each other. So I'm going to read out Stacy's question. What is the best way to automate incremental appending of a master data set in Excel? I'm using Power BI to transform weekly extracted data, and then I need to append that transformed data to the original master data set in Excel and slowly grow the file. How do I do it? How do I do this? Let's see if there's any other detail. Oh, this is so painful. This is so painful. You gotta take a visual. You're manually exporting it, guys. This is not okay. This is not okay. Let's timestamp it. 11:26. How do we do this? And we go here. Okay. How do you write data back to Excel? I don't know if they're similar or different. 9, yeah. Well, yeah. How do you write data back to Excel? This might need some out-of-the-box thinking. And so let's think out of the box. So one is that the Excel is actually a query connected to Power BI. And thanks to Mikola's question earlier, we've already seen that, right? So go back to about 11 o'clock if you're watching the recording, and that's when we covered how to connect Excel to that, right? How to connect Excel to that. But you're going to have to do it. There are two ways to do it. there are two ways to do it. Oh man, this one is meaty. Oh dang it, I'm gonna give it a gold star right away. So and I can't believe we don't have a written out standard for gold star. Why? Why not? So let's say gold star. What is the awarded? So the question is a real kind of business scenario. No hypothetical stuff. Sometimes people are just playing with DAX measures and they're like, oh, this is not working. And I'm like, what are you trying to do? No, I'm just trying to like figure out calculate table. I'm like, no, what are you, right? So yeah, none of that stuff, man. We don't care about that. What business problem you're trying to solve, right? Really, no hypothetical stuff. So it's a real business scenario, and then it seems simple, but isn't. Right? So walking into it, the last one we took, how do you do your filters? Man, I didn't think it was going to take me however long it took. 45 minutes or something. 30 minutes, I don't know. It felt like too long, right? So actually, it seems it was just 15 minutes, but it felt longer. So yeah, so right, so that's it. That's the kind of the star awarded question. So that's the criteria. So this one, yeah, I mean, this one is definitely a real business scenario. I can see the need for this, and it's like a simple ask. Like, yeah, I just want to write data to Excel. I want to add data to Excel. So you can have an Excel query connected to Power BI, and this can be, well, pivot table, which we already saw, right? So covered earlier at 11 a.m. on the call, right? So but pivot tables aren't that great. So here, hey guys, I've done this stuff. So here's what I actually do, right? So when we connect something, and we just want it to be a table, what we do is basically we flatten everything out. So let me ignore this. So I'm gonna say, let's say group, country, region, and then I'm going to go to product and bring in product category and subcategory, right? So I do that, and then you have to go in here, design report layout, tabular form, and then you have to say report layout, repeat all item labels, and then you have to turn off totals. Grand totals are off, and then gosh, how do you turn off this plus minus thing? Pivot table options, display, expand, collapse. That's gone. Nobody needs that. So, and it looks like a table, right? So, yep, here's the data. So that's one way to do it, right? So, and I'll say change pivot table settings to basically flatten it. There's another way. Where you basically and I don't think I'm going to be able to show that to you, but I'm going to simulate it. So you could go to data, get data. Actually, this might work. Let's try this. SQL Server database. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling it. Yeah, this is good. This is good, guys. Thank you, Paul. All right, so I'm gonna say so again, I'm just doing like an alternative. And oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to. I don't know what it's called. I'm trying to launch. There we go. Actually, I could have done it a different way. Let's try to do it that way. So instead of connecting it through a pivot table, this is a pivot table. You can connect to Power BI using get data. And so I'm going to say, and again, Power BI is a server as well. So earlier I showed you how to kind of create a pivot table connected to that data source, but now I don't want a pivot table, I just want the data dump. So we'll connect it to the same thing, but now I'm going to kind of get that table. So next, finish, replace it. Oh shoot! Oh, what is it doing? What just happened? I don't want that. Let's get a table. Sorry, I haven't spent much time in Excel. Queries. How do I do a new query? Nope. Why is it so hard? Oh. Okay. I'm getting it, guys. Sorry, it took me some beating around the bush to get it, but I think I'm feeling it now. So I'm going to say new source, database, and analysis services. Whoa, now I'm going to roll. Yep. So, and then we go localhost colon 51135 and hit OK. So that's connected to Power BI. And I can extract a table. Go in here, model, and let's just do sales. Sales based on oh shoot, I didn't, sorry, dang it, what did I do? I'm actually not sure what I did. Hold on. Oh, got it. Where are the oh, got it. Where are the formulas actually? Let's try. So I want to say by country and by product category. I want sales. Can I search for it? Oh, thank you. Oh, there it is. There we go. Oh, all right, and of course you can get as detailed as so again. So this is going to be a table. Earlier we had to kind of work hard to make a table from Power BI. So we had to kind of work hard to make a pivot table look like a table, but it was still a pivot table, right? So now this one, oh, I didn't load it. Load to table A1. Okay, perfect. So yeah, you get a table. Is one better than the other? Could be. You know, a table, if something else is connecting to it, obviously it's much easier to connect to a table because you have the name, it has a specific boundary. If something else is connecting to a pivot table, yeah, I mean, what do? I mean, you would have to kind of dynamically detect the size of the pivot table and all that stuff, right? So there are subtle differences there, and I showed you both ways. So let's come back here. So gold star, get data using DAX query, which is basically DAX query, query editor. Query to a table, right? So this is not a pivot table. So that's one way. That's one way to do it. I think I'll kind of pause there. So how to write? So it's not really write back, but data is going to show up in Excel, which is coming from Power BI. How would you actually write back? So write back is I'm doing something in Power BI, and then I say, oh, cool, now go back and write this data to Excel. Well, there are a few different ways. You could use Power Apps. Yes, I have not used Power Apps or PowerFlow. One day I will. It's okay to be focused, right? I mean, it's okay to focus on. So sometimes I hear people like, oh, Avi, I mean, do I need to learn SQL, R, Python, data science, all of that stuff? And like, well, go for it, but I don't know any of those, right? So guys, yeah, I mean, and in fact, I believe that less is more. I believe the more focused you get, there's a right way to do it. And I talk about it with my Pro Plus group all the time, that don't lead with the technology, right? Lead with the business problem, the business you're trying to help, the business you're trying to solve. But it's okay to niche down. So let's come back here. So Power Apps, you could do it that way. There are other third-party tools. There is what is it called? Power Update. I think the company, Power Update. There is Acteris, maybe Acteris. They do that stuff. So obviously it's paid. So there's third party, which lets you do stuff. What else could you do? You could maybe hack together a solution, Power Apps, something like that. So I'll kind of pause there. And what I'll say is, if you Stacy's scenario of incrementally updating, I would say that you can do it with a combination. So maybe I would say don't incrementally update anything. Make Power BI the master record, and Excel is just querying that, right? So that's one option. So for Stacy, make Power BI the master, right? And Excel just connects to it, right? So that's one way to do it. And the other option would be is to use approach above plus some macro magic, and that's the strength of Power BI, Excel. And, BBA macros, you can do a lot. So basically, you would get this, extract this from Power BI, and now you're not manually exporting anything. It's just it's just one click, like data refresh, and boom, it goes to the Power BI model, grabs it. So again, I don't want you to go to the visual export, none of that stuff. Just build the model so that you can extract it here, extract it this way using a query pivot table, and then a macro would grab this new stuff, append it to the table, and done. Right? So, all right, man, that was good. Frankly, that was somehow not as satisfying as I was hoping for it to be. I was hoping we are gonna get into something deeper, but that kind of didn't happen. But still good. I'm not gonna take it with a gold star. Awesome. Hey, this is good, guys. We're having some fun here. Oh, gold star. I you know what? I actually feel that there is more here. There's a lot more here. Oh my God. For one, I missed one thing, and one of my students had shown this to me. Not that I can learn it, but they were using R or Python to write back. What? That's insane. Insanity. That's crazy. I have no idea how to use that stuff, but it's possible. All right, so Jen is saying a lot of manipulation. I think it should be more seamless. Yeah. How would it be easy? I don't know. I mean, frankly, if somebody said, like Power BI team came to me and said, "Oh yeah, Avi, we'll do whatever you want," and I wanted them to make this scenario easy, I don't really know what I would ask them. I mean, except for this very specific question, like, oh, make me add this data. But no, what is a feature? What does a feature do, right? I mean, not just like, oh, add this data to Avi's table. Like, uh, I don't know what I would ask for. Like, what? Yeah. So, I don't see it outside of this, but again, sometimes out of the box stuff is there. So I don't know what like not, short of them just helping me with this one task. What is a feature that we would request? Oh, can you make Excel do this with Power BI? What would that be? I don't know. I can't think of it right now. Um, won't the Power BI Excel add-in connect to Power BI Cleaner? I think that the Excel add-in is just the same thing. It's just a shortcut. It just lets you connect to the server, and yeah. So unless I'm mistaken, yeah, I think it is just a shortcut for analyzing Excel. So that's my thinking. Maybe the other options there. Power BI Publisher for Excel, which is the add-in, can connect to Excel to Power BI model, but I think it just gets you a pivot table. That's what it does. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Power BI Publisher. Yep. So analyze in Excel is pro feature, which by Microsoft logic it doesn't make sense because when they simplify licensing, they said, oh, sharing is paid, and if you're not sharing, it's not paid, but it's okay. Yeah, so Jen is saying I'm only one allowed to use Power BI. That's a bummer. Um, I mean, hey, I mean, if you want people to evaluate Power BI and to obviously, and that's the thing where I think stopping sharing, and I understand, they need to make money and there are different models to make money. So I get it, right? So one model is this allow free sharing. So think about that's what a lot of these new tech babies do. Like all of this, like Slack, Dropbox. The model is based on that. The model is based on viral growth. Dropbox does let you share stuff for free. You can not only keep your own files, you can share it with whoever you want. Slack, well, you can get on this Slack and chat with yourself. You can do that. But you can invite a few friends and just have a Slack channel. And we do actually for our Pro Plus group. And it's awesome. We love it. And it's all free. All free. I don't pay a dime. But then they do kind of the limit and then they say, hey, beyond this, you gotta pay. That's one model. Power BI was kind of on that model at one point, and that gave them a lot of viral growth, I'm sure, because somebody would build something. Hey, take a look at this. I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. Hey, yeah, awesome, right? So everybody loves Power BI, but they killed it, right? They said no, so they took that away. So of course, pros and cons. So now you got to use Power BI, well, and sharing. Well, that's the whole purpose of this. So yeah, pretty much it's kind of paid only, unless for evaluation. The two things you can do is do a trial for other users, have them try it. I think it's for like, I hope it's for like 90 days or something, 60 days, 30 days at least. Um, in a clutch, I have sometimes used like a shared account, and I'm sure, yeah, you get into trouble. It gets kind of clumsy pretty quick. So you're gonna outgrow it pretty quick, but it still gets me over the hump where I'm trying to convince them for the pro license, and until they see it, it's kind of catch 22, right? Unless they see it, they won't understand the value, wouldn't pay for it. All right, cool. So good discussion there. Mm, yeah, I know. So consulting. So consulting, I've often thought about like what's the key difference between consulting and working as a full-time employee. And yeah, it's kind of weird because in some ways it's the same. You certainly are not going to be happier just because you become consultant. you know, don't fall for that. And you are going to be happy if you create a life of happiness. You can do that with a full-time job. The real question is, do you have more freedom to create a life of happiness as a consultant? Maybe. And but yeah, again, I mean, consultant doesn't necessarily mean a lot of things people want it to mean, which is, oh, I'll make more money, I'll be more happy, I'll be free. You can, yeah, you can be a consultant who's working 80, 100 hours, not making enough money, and extremely unhappy. right? So yeah, so and of course, folks. So yeah, I mean, for me, the whole Pro Plus journey that I talk about, I mean, that's been rewarding because that was my goal to not just create this outer success, but create this inner success. And with this group, since they know that I'm kind of like that, right? Um, I get to talk to them about this stuff, and we're on the same frequency, and they get it for the most part. And of course, the best part is that they feed me ideas, they feed me inspiration. I was like, oh, cool, yeah, I didn't think about that. So that's been a good journey. So yes, but one of the differences that I felt was between consulting and full time job is it's kind of like investing in stocks, and employment is like you're going in, and you're going in and just buying the stock of one company, Enron. You're like, I'm all in, Enron, I'm with you, till death do us part, or something, right? So you go all in, and of course, what happens is if things shift, then you can get in trouble, right? And of course, the way things shift is like, well, obviously, if the company stock drops, I'm not talking about that. I'm just using that as an analogy. But the way things shift is that they lay you off, right? And right, so they lay you off, or something really bad, or your boss hates you now, or you hate your boss, or something weird. I've been in all of those, and maybe one of your colleagues is getting on your nerves, or right. I mean, you don't get to choose the people you work with. That's another difference. So if you get in a spot, then well, you're invested in just one stock. There's no diversification. In consulting, you're diversified, right? You're not. I mean, if something goes wrong with one client, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, I try to do the best, but at some point, I can just walk away. You can pick your own clients. You can pick the people you work with, and of course, what we talk about in kind of this Pro Plus program is kind of building your personal brand. I love that. And another advantage of that personal brand is that, you think about, like, you can choose the people you work with, but if you build a personal brand, then you attract the people who are automatically your type, your tribe. So you attract this tribe around you. And I experience that. I mean, most people that I meet as a student, as a client, as a consulting client in my Pro Plus program, I like them. Yeah, right. I mean, so yeah, I like them. I really like them as a person. So yeah, so yeah, some things are different there, but yeah, so consulting, you kind of get more diversified and gives you a little more freedom. In job, it's like the only option is a nuclear option, which is, man, either they let you go, right, or uh, or you're gonna have to change jobs, which again is like it's like a bigger deal, right? But, so anyway, so that's a little bit on I guess side discussion on consulting and Power BI. So yeah, Jen, wish you the best. Um, awesome. Let's see. Did we fully answer this question? Well, not fully, but yeah, I think we explored enough. How are we doing time? Let's take. Oh man, last question. I almost don't want to go, but so let's see. Is somebody on who had submitted their question? Anybody? Somebody? Just let me know. And
No,
hello.
no.
No. Okay. All right. No. All right. Okay. So not on the phone. YouTube. I know there's a little bit delay, so I'm gonna wait. Let's see if there was an easy one that I can pick. Ooh, there's some consulting types, so we could dive right into these. Maybe you can. Uh, so let's take this one. This one is easy. Hey, get started as a consultant. So for that, folks, join my Pro Plus program. That's the best way, fastest way to do it. You can do it on your own, but guys, it's a really tough journey. And if you're anything like me, if you want to, oh, you know what? Let's timestamp that one. If you're like me, so my idea of being a consultant is not working for a consulting company, right? I mean, there are lots of people out there, good for them, who are, who are working at a consulting company. It could be one of the big ones. Gosh.
The problem is you are bottleneck for yourself.
Bottleneck for yourself if you work for a consulting company?
No, if you work alone as a consultant,
Yeah.
as the
So
entrepreneur.
exactly. Yeah. So let's dive into that. So for one, my idea of being a consultant is not working for a consulting company. I mean, sure, you can call that consultant, but that's not my vision. I'm trying to think of a consulting firm. Um, oh gosh, the Big Four. Uh, Big Four. Um, Ernst and Young, E&Y, right? So yeah, if you're working for them or a lot of other small consulting firms, guys, that's just a job. That's just a job in a different guise. It's slightly different flavored. Yeah, the experience will be different. You do get to work with different clients, but what I experienced was when I left my 9 to 5 and went out on my own, the difference was I was basically earlier, I was sitting in the back seat of the car and being driven around. You know, I mean, company went this way, I went that way. Manager changed, went that way. Priorities changed. They asked me to learn this, da da da. Now we're using this technology, whatever, right? So I was being driven around, but now I got the steering wheel in my hands. Now that can be good and bad. That's for better or worse. I mean, have I had white knuckle moments holding the steering wheel like, oh my god, how about I don't crash? Yeah, can you crash it? Sure. But having experienced both sides, would I rather have the steering wheel in my hands? The answer for me is yes. You're gonna have to find your own answer. Right? So there's no good or bad, there's no right or wrong. Let's talk about the other part of it. So the light that I call. So when I stepped into this, I didn't know. I mean, am I an entrepreneur? I always thought that entrepreneurs are like these guys in Silicon Valley going for this IPO, and I'm like, I'm not. I'm not that. I'm definitely not that. Then I came across this term which I've fallen in love with, which is solopreneur. I'm like, yes, that's what I want to be. I don't want to build like a big 30, 300 people company or whatever. Forget about going public or an IPO. I don't want to deal with any of that. I just want to do my thing, make good money, great money, and but more important than money for me is the quality of my life. I want to be able to choose my own hours, work whenever I want, work with the people that I want, and yeah, geographical independence, right? So for me, my parents are in India. I want to be able to take month-long vacations, which I have, and just go there. I want to be able to travel with my family. I want to be able to pick up my daughters. That stuff is important for me. So that's the life that I'm talking about. When I say a consultant, it's a very specific kind of consultant. But here's where I got lucky. So I was on this journey of what I didn't know then, the solopreneur word I got to know much later. But I stumbled, and guys, I struggled. And I've shared some of the struggles. Man, it was the hardest thing ever, and I don't say that lightly. It was brutal. It was gut wrenching. Yeah, man, it was hard. But I got lucky because I found a program for basically digital solopreneurs. And I found a coach and I found a community. So that's the thing, that's the key. Being a solopreneur or going on that path does not mean you go alone. I could not have done it alone. I would have crashed and burned completely. I was talking to one of our Pro Plus members yesterday, and they used a beautiful word, and they said, Avi, I need a frame around me. So if you look at a picture, man, it looks like, yeah, it's going to look, with a frame, it looks much better. A frame holds the picture up. We need a frame around us. So yeah, solopreneur doesn't mean you go alone. And I experienced that myself. And that's when things started changing for me, when I got coaching community. And of course, this is just my way of paying it forward. So I've created this coaching community with the Pro Plus program. So you can do it this way. So, and again, not for everybody. In fact, I would think this is for a very, very selected group of people. We run it as a small group program, only about 20 to 30 people. I don't think we're ever going to enlarge it. But, so it's not for everybody. I know it. But those who are in this program, when I talk to them the first time, they're in a different spot. Like they talk about, and frankly, the funny thing is that these folks are much farther ahead of me when I made, well, basically when I left my job in Microsoft. Definitely don't do what I did, because that was the most painful path ever. I had dream no heart, didn't have anything else, didn't have a plan, nothing, zero, no planning, nothing. I just up and left, quit, and felt good about it for a really brief time. And then I started panicking, like, oh my God, the paycheck is not going to show up. How do I pay my mortgage? All that stuff. So brutal. So these guys are not only, they're planning, they're thinking, obviously they're kind of enrolling in this program, but they're also mentally, kind of mindset-wise ahead of me. Because frankly, I didn't even realize that why am I doing this, or so what I say to them, most folks, is that if you have a tug in your heart that if I live all of my life as a 9 to 5 employee, then I'm going to regret it at my deathbed. Come on, mate. I mean, right? I mean, don't you deserve that to have given it a try? I think you do, right? So yeah. And again, that's not everybody. A lot of folks would say, no, I'm going to be okay. That's fine by me. Um, so yeah. So most of these folks are kind of jumping in because they say, hey, man, if I don't do it, and if I don't do it now, of course, where the kind of the iron is hot, right? Uh, Power BI technology is really hot. If I don't do it now, then when am I going to do it? And if I don't do it ever, then I'm certainly going to regret it. Time to jump in, right? So it's for that. So solopreneur. So let's talk about that. So that's what my recommendation would be. So of course, I was kind of half joking when I said join my program. You don't have to join my program, but you need the same elements. The same elements, mate. Otherwise, you're going to make it really hard for yourself. Make sure there's coaching around you, right, to guide you. Make sure there's a community around you of like-minded folks. Because what happens is when you go on this path, man, you become like the zebra in a herd of horses. Your family is not going to get it, not really. I mean, they can be supportive, but they wouldn't really get, like, why did you leave your job in Microsoft, Avi? I mean, yeah, right? So your family is not going to get it, and they're going to try their best, but I mean, you can't really talk to them about this stuff and so forth, especially as you go down through the emotional roller coaster, which is going to happen. Your old colleagues are not going to get it, and yeah, man, I mean, you feel terribly alone, and I was there. I know it. So again, you got to have some coaching around you, got to have some community around you, and then you're going to have some training. So here's the thing. For one, God's sake, don't go get an MBA. If you did it, well, you may still be able to succeed. I'll not hold that against you, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe it'll hold you back because I'm just going to say it plain. I think, at least for this journey, MBA is bullshit, right? So, yeah, I mean, if I had gone an MBA, all I would have ended up with was a debt. I mean, 2 years on, and I was like, oh, okay, now what do I do, right? And so you need some training, and the training needs to be kind of specific. So our training is kind of really, really specific, and we have this concept that we're playing with right now, which I call chase the money. And I say, hey, what's the shortest, fastest way to get your first paid client? Let's go do that. And then what's the shortest, fastest way to get the next paid client? Let's go do that. And once you have that, well, now you're proving it, right? You say, oh, cool, I can do this, and I can get paid for this. You've proven that, right? And then you say, cool, now how do I build that into a steady stream, right? So that's kind of the training part. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. The biggest one that I hear is hard work. I'm so sick and tired of that, guys. And I don't think it applies in an employee role. It definitely doesn't apply in the solopreneur path, right? So yeah, that one is just, if you want to go that route, yeah. So I've heard people who have kind of done this a few times, well, at least, well, like the entrepreneurship thing, like they did something and did it, and maybe even Power BI consulting, hey, Javi, I did it, man. 6 months, I grinded it out, 80-hour weeks and all that stuff, but then I gave up. It didn't work. I went back to a job. And I'm like, wow, okay. And so hard work is not the key. So yeah, that's where kind of the training comes in. So I think those kind of are the elements in the program. We have the training, or what to focus on, how to go on about it, the shortest path. I love kind of hacks like that, right? I mean, and so forth. So that's a training. It helps to have a kind of a coach, because this is what this journey is going to feel like. If you're on this journey, what you're going to feel like is that you're inside the wine bottle trying to read the label. It's pretty darn hard. And we're all the same way. Guys, I still have a coach. I work with a coach. I've consistently been around a coach community. Obviously, I've paid for that. I'm happy to pay for that because I know the return that I get from that. It's immense. So you can read your own label. That's where Coach Guide, they kind of help you. Right. So, oh gosh, what was I saying? So training, coach, community. That's your tribe, your herd of zebras. You're zebra now. Don't hang out with horses. Come on, right? You got stripes now, right? So hang out with the cool kids. No, well, your kind, right? It's not like one is better than the other, but yeah, kind of your kind. And man, it's just awesome when you meet them and you talk to them first time. It's like, oh yeah, you talk about stuff and like they connect, they get it right away. It's awesome, right? So coaching community. Oh, and of course we do one cool thing which is going on right now, which is Real Power BI. So this is not a problem for everybody. So by the way, the folks who enroll in our Pro Plus program, about 60% of them are in a full-time job and have never done any consulting on the side. About 20% are in a full-time job and have done some consulting on the side or doing some consulting on the side. May or may not be Power BI. And about 20% are consultants already. And for them, either they're Power BI consultants and just want to grow that business more, or they are consulting on something not in Power BI. Sometimes it's like Excel. Sometimes it could be something really different, like process management, that sort of stuff, right? And that's okay, right? And they want to like not necessarily go now become a Power BI consultant, but grow their business with the strength of Power BI, right? So I'm like, oh my, I'm a process consultant, but I do that 100 times better now with the strength of Power BI, right? So that kind of thing. So 60, 20, 20, and that's a rough breakdown. Oh shoot, I was going somewhere with this. Sorry, I forgot. Anyway, so folks, yeah, that's kind of the structure of the program and so forth. Oh yeah, Real Power BI. Sorry, my bad. So Real Power BI. So what happens is that since 60% of them have never worked as a consultant before. And hey, I was the same way, right? I mean, I was a 9 to 5 through and through, right? I mean, what? Prudential, Lucent, AOL, Washington Mutual, Microsoft. Yeah, just that was my life. I had never ever been a consultant before. So how do you get the first project? It becomes really tricky, and so we solve it for them, and that's what the Real Power BI program is. Basically, the idea is really simple. And it's open right now. We have business users submit projects, and we select them. Well, actually, the students select themselves, and so we match the selected project with the Pro Plus members, and off they go. This becomes kind of the first project. They get a real experience. They hopefully get a testimonial out of it. Sometimes, if they do a good job, then that company hires them. We're like, oh yeah, cool. I mean, we understand that this was free. But after that, so this is a time blocked period. So this is going to be like a 4 to 5 week project. And hey, with Power BI, you can make a lot of progress in 4 to 5 weeks. We've seen some amazing stuff. April, we're going to have the big presentation out of this batch, this group. But that's what's going on. So of course, so again, you don't have to join my Pro Plus program, but you have to have these elements, right? So again, what we have is kind of the training, what to do, coaching, because besides the training, sometimes you may need some hand holding. That's where the coach comes in to read that wine label bottle. And community, right? You heard of zebras. And lastly, the Real Power BI, which is not a challenge for everybody. So folks who have done consulting, they still participate in this. It's a fun project because everybody's kind of doing it together. You get to present in the end and get to be showcased in the Talk Power BI. So it's exciting. But
it's for your student?
So this is for the Pro Plus program. Yeah. So we've been running it since 2019, and we opened enrollment in January. So that closed recently. And
so if I bought your program, I can apply for it.
Well, anybody can apply. You don't have to be in the program for Pro Plus, but yeah, I mean, a lot of them
plus,
come.
Plus Pro.
Yeah. So yeah, if you go to training, and the last one, that's Pro Plus. And I know sometimes it's confusing, like a Pro Level, Pro Plus, but yeah. So the full name for the program, the official name is Six Figures Power BI Consultant. So yeah, it's just focused on helping you become professional. And yep, so you can join the waitlist, and next time it opens, we'll let you know. And yeah, so that's the program. Awesome. So again, folks, I was only half joking when I said really you have to join this program, but if you want to avoid some pain that I had to go through, then I would say look for those elements. So this is cool. We're gonna call it good here.
I just want to ask one question.
Yeah.
Because I'm studying right now with you with this basic and pro. but I don't have the business case to work with.
Yeah,
So
so the real Power BI could solve that, right? So uh, so so yeah, so that's what we do for Pro Plus members is we run this real Power BI project where we ask for projects and they submit the
okay,
projects and so forth. Actually, I'll show you that one we
so
run using Trello. Yeah,
I'm going to do it. Mhm.
nice, awesome. So yeah, so join the wait list, and the next time it opens, we'll let you know. So on the Zoom, it's showing like a. Sorry, what is your name on the Zoom? It's kind
Przemysław,
of slaughtered. Say again.
Przemysław.
All right, great. All right,
So the nickname is Przemek.
Premic. All right, great, terrific, mate. Awesome. So let's go back
And
here.
it's a typical for Eastern Europe.
All right, nice, great. So where in Eastern Europe are you based out of?
Warsaw,
All right, great.
Poland.
Great. So tell me a bit more about, um, well, what is the scenario? I mean, is your, um, how come you ended up in the chorus? I mean, are you in a role right now where you're trying to apply
Um,
Power BI? Tell me a bit about what's going on.
I'm just started your course. That's the
Yeah.
basic one. So I'm in the process. I'm learning it, but my core competence is controlling and finance.
Oh, great.
And my role was usually interim manager or C-level, like CFO,
Yeah.
financial manager, or operation during turmoil or restructuring. And I just finished in November
Yeah.
my last project when
Yeah.
telecommunication company, and I'm looking for next challenges, and
That's
I'm
great.
taking this free time to new this amazing Power BI
Yeah.
and Power Apps. My idea is to combine it because I see some potential during restructuring companies that they have
Mm-hmm.
lack of structured uh, data and processes as well. So
That's true.
even I want some make decision, I have no data at all.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. These often go hand in hand, right? I mean,
Yeah,
if you
and
don't have, yeah,
I
good
see
point.
some potential working with you, but now I have no project to work with. I have no data, no company,
Yeah.
and I'm looking for it. So I don't know how to convince sometimes the
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We
so to
definitely.
show the product, you
Yeah.
know.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. I mean, hey. I mean, so we try to be very selective for the Pro Plus group, just because it's a very kind of unique program we feel. But everything that I'm hearing sounds good to me. I think
And I
you're
was
getting a lot
the
of out of it.
CFO of the hospital of production company with 300 people. It's about uh, 200 million dollars in revenue,
Yeah.
and so there is a quite a lot of projects on manager position, and I have seen the lack of the structuring, modeling, and managerial dashboards,
Yeah.
especially managerial dashboards,
Brilliant.
because the only P&L doesn't solve your problems with processes and what customers in what channel is profitable is not, or not, is it good or bad,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you can combine the internal data in Power BI with external data, the behavior of customers,
Yeah.
what is your potential, or is
Wow.
your that's would be challenging to gather together the external and internal data and to see, okay, if we need to change company, in what direction we have to go.
You know, yeah, I really think that you kind of clearly been in the industry for a while, and kind of the pain points, and you have made the connection that, oh, look, some of these or a lot of these things can be greatly helped with using this tool. And again, I mean, Power BI is just a tool, right? It's what you do with it, right? So, but I think that's where, so most of these Pro Plus folks, either they're doing it already, or I strongly advise them to, which is like they don't be about Power BI, but have a business focus, combine that with Power BI, right? So it could be I'm focused on process, I'm focused on, somebody's focused
Mhm.
on kind of marketing. It's like, oh, I help marketing professionals, I help, I don't know, supply chain management, but I do that with Power BI. So of course, I can see kind of your focus already, which is stuff you've been doing all along. So hey, yeah, I've been helping companies this way, but now, of course, it's going to make you kind of incredibly
But
powerful.
do you see big potential to work with the companies even remotely, online,
Yeah. So
using?
um, frankly, my main focus is when I talked about kind of the solopreneur lifestyle. So, uh, you know, uh, yeah, is pretty much everything that I kind of teach and all is focused with that focus, that you're able to work remotely, choose your hours, choose your location. I talked about how my parents are in India and I go back there. So I teach it that way. Now, of course, you can adapt that and still work locally. Some students do, but yeah, I mean, I teach what I know, right? So, and what I know is, yeah, this ability to globally. Yeah, so lots of opportunities working remotely. We do it all the time, and we love it. And
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
So definitely,
Because
there's a
my
lot there.
approach is also I want to solve the problems. Tell me about problems, I will solve you. And
Love
the
it.
Power BI is just one of the tools,
Exactly.
because
Exactly. Yeah.
I have the business knowledge about your branch, or I have business knowledge about Six Sigma, lean management, how to
Yeah.
solve problems, and
Yeah.
the Power BI accelerate it to give me the data-driven decision.
Exactly. Yeah, man, I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, you're spot on. That's great. I
Mhm.
mean, sometimes I have to like coach the students to
Data-driven
join,
decision.
to kind of to so some of them can,
Otherwise,
yeah.
ego play role. The bigger ego manager has, he wins or she wins, and that's the worst
Yeah.
scenario.
Oh, I've seen it all. Yeah, I mean, I've seen people who would get threatened when, like, a consultant or something would come in with Power BI because they're so used to kind of controlling everything, and they feel like, oh, now I'm kind of losing control. So that superhero syndrome, right?
But
Where
but, but
there's a
my
superhero.
problem is
Hmm.
how to accelerate it, because I'm the bottleneck for myself. When I
Yeah.
start the project, I don't have time to look for another. When I finish project, I
Yeah.
have few weeks or months to show to find something
Yeah.
new, and that's the big problem, to have this acceleration to some
Yeah.
leverage.
Definitely. Yeah, I think the training, the coaching community would kind of definitely help with that because that can be a problem. And of course, that's what I was talking about earlier. That sometimes people think, oh, consultant, and I become a consultant, and then everything is solved, right? No. And I'm glad
No.
you're kind of aware of that. So I like that. I mean, you're kind of stepping into this, approaching this with kind of your eyes wide open. Like, yep, I want to do this, but I don't want to do it this way, right? I mean, I don't want to be in a spot where I'm constantly having to, like, hey, how do I do this? So yeah, we definitely kind of focus on that and cover that as well. Um, yeah, pretty good, pretty good. All right,
Okay.
thanks,
Thank you.
mate. So I'll be looking forward to that.
I
That's
will
that's
change my
exciting.
name next time.
Okay.
More understanding, like
Yeah.
Peter or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, that will help me.
Actually, my second name is Peter, so can be.
Okay, okay, that's great. I'll go for that. All right. So, yeah, we have a gentleman from Brazil in our course, and his name is Mateus. Well, I know how to spell it. I don't. I never quite say it the way he says it. And yeah, he's Avi. Just call me Matt or Matthew. And I'm like, okay, thank you. All right. Well, talking about names, yeah. I mean, some of you may know because that's how it's published on my book with Rob Colley. It's so my full name is Avichal Singh, and of course Avichal is Avi. I actually like
Everything's
Avi more.
fine. I was
Yeah.
working in Germany with Metro Group. It was almost 30 countries from Japan,
Mm-hmm.
India, and Mexico.
Yeah.
And there is so many names,
Oh gosh.
difficult
Yeah.
to understand.
Wow. All right. So hey, Greg Kramer, Tenacious Data in the house. Woot woot. Loves the conversation. That's great. All right. So folks, yeah, I said on 12 o'clock we went over because this was so fun, but let's call it a day. Let's kind of recap if it's okay with you guys. So for one, hey guys, so I know some of you are like, hey guys, Avi, talk about Power BI, but hey guys, there's more important stuff, I guess. So um, oops, okay, I guess that's good. I don't know how to change that.
And Evie, one question more, maybe
Yeah,
I can send by email. But is it worth to take this partnership with Microsoft? Is your
yeah,
program
oh yeah.
helping pass exam?
Oh, no, I'm not a huge believer in exams because what does that give you? It gives a label, and who cares? Microsoft partnership is definitely worth it because for one, it's free or very cheap as far as I remember. It's
Mm-hmm.
low enough that I don't worry about it. I think it's free. So yeah, Microsoft partnership
The
should
first
apply.
level is free. The silver
Yeah,
and gold is
yeah, but I mean, first level is still pretty good because you get to print it on a business card and so
you
forth,
just
and
need pass
yeah.
exam and two proofs, something like this.
For yeah, gold and silver, you have to jump through hoops, but you can do that later. I mean, I would definitely don't recommend it starting out. So I don't recommend certification. I don't recommend that. Really, I mean, I love hacks. So my approach is that. So to tell you a little bit more how the Pro Plus program started. By the way, you mentioned Warsaw. One of there were two people who inspired this program. One of them is from Poland. I don't know if you knew, but Justina Bucks. She's from Poland, and the other person who inspired this is Pam Baker. And what I saw was that I was
I have
teaching.
found her on LinkedIn.
Oh, great! Right. So the short story is that I I mean, I was teaching Power BI, but then I started noticing that, not everybody was succeeding. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, a lot of people were their life wasn't changing at all. Like they didn't get like a career boost or anything. But for Pam Baker and Justina Bucks, they got what I call breakthrough success. So Justina Bucks, she 4x'd her income, which is awesome. And Pam Baker became this worldwide celebrity inside Volvo, right? So one was a full-time employee route, one was a consultant route, and that's been my journey to go kind of on this Pro Plus and say, hey, can I create more Pam Bakers, more Justina Bucks?
Okay.
All right. Sorry, had you asked me a question? I forgot.
Mm. No, just this Microsoft partnership. Just
Yeah. So okay, got it. So sorry, I lost track a bit. So when I first started this program, I said it was a beta, and well, thank you for guys if you were the guinea pig in that, and it was still a good batch. We still had a lot of fun. We still saw a lot of success, but my training was a little bit off because I came in saying, "Hey guys, focus on social media and that sort of stuff. Look what YouTube did for me." And now what YouTube did for me was amazing, but it took 2 years. And I'm
mm-hmm.
not happy with 2 years. I don't want anybody to have to wait 2 years for that. I definitely don't want to teach a program which is 2 years long, right? So I don't want that. So since then, I've been on the journey that how can we hack it? So frankly, now I've almost moved away from social. Social is like way down my order because social takes too long. Social can play a role
Your lever
in the
is
long
your lever.
term. Yeah. So it's like it's yeah. So you can do it in the background, and it does grow over time and becomes really strong. So it's good that way. Like in 2 years, man, you can like just change your whole life if you focus on social. But it's not the shortest path. So now we're focused on like what's the hack, what's the shortest path, what's the quickest, fastest way to get your first client, get your next client, and then build a steady stream of business. And yeah, that's been fun.
But the question is how to organize yourself or how to build your in brackets company to manage more than one or two companies in the same time.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a journey, but yeah, I think with this group, and there's no like a magic answer like, oh, here's how to do it. But yeah, I think there's
Otherwise, you are a freelancer like in unemployment.
exactly right. So yeah, so certainly, and so yeah, so this program is kind of different because I do want people who are aware that they're gonna end up creating a life that it's kind of in their hands. So yeah, I mean, I think so. Of course, it's so yeah. There's no kind of a like this is the answer. Well, the answer is that all the elements are to support the students in that journey. So the training, coaching, community, real Power BI, that's to support them in the journey
Element to
to get
build.
that. Yeah. But yeah, it is a journey, and you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware that, oh, I mean, I didn't just want money, right? Because that's the challenge, right? Because guess what? I mean, if somebody really wants to earn money, well, they're probably going to earn money. But I've met a lot of them, and they end up in this pretty horrid state where they've kind of sacrificed their personal life, their family relationships, their physical fitness, and all that sort of stuff, right? And they have money. What's the importance of the money to that? It's useless, right? I mean, they're happy, lonely, and sad, right? Oh, sorry, they're lonely and sad. So the path is there, the support is there, but you're gonna have to be aware of that. That, oh, this is what I want. I want. I don't want to be able to chain to my desk and working 40 or, God forbid, 60 or 80 hours a week. No, I want to be able to work 20 hours a week. Maybe I want to be able to work 10 hours a week.
Is it
That's what
your
I'm going to create.
is it your experience that the big companies has the in-house departments rather than external, or there's
Um,
no rules,
well,
so the customers can be the middle, just or small?
yeah. Well, yeah, but all of them can be your customers. Just because they have in-house department doesn't mean that they can be your customer. Sure, they can be
Okay.
your customer. They can pay you a lot of money because, well, well, for one, if they're in the initial stage where they're growing that department, then they're gonna need training, a lot of training. You can step in for that. And as they even go on the journey, you can grow with them. They're going to need advanced training, so you can step in for that. And then they're going to get stuck. They're going to, oh, shit, can you guide us? So initially, you're going to do a consulting, you're going to hold the hand a little bit more, but then maybe ease off, and then it'll become a little bit of help them over the roadblocks. But then what's going to happen is that somebody's going to drop this big project on them. And that's how businesses work, right? There's these big changes, shifts. They don't really know what's coming. So what's going to happen is like, oh my God, this happened. A merger happened, and we need to make it work in 1 month. And guess what? And that's the challenge with employees. You can't scale up and down employees that fast, right? I mean, what are you going to do if you now have a merger and now need to do something in 1 month? You can't hire
Yes.
10 people and fire them. Guess who they're going to call? They're going to call you, right? So yeah, I mean, it's all good. I mean, in-house department, no in-house, dude. I love all of them, and all of them can be and probably would be your customers.
Okay.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, this is being good. What was I trying to? I forget what I was trying to do. I was trying to. Oh yeah, I was trying to do a recap. Okay, cool. So let's go over here. So folks, learnpowerbi.com/get. Easy, right? So get, if you're looking for either a scholarship. So if you're in a financial hardship and you need some, well, yeah, I mean, you like to earn a scholarship to our Learn Power BI program, then you can apply here. And that one does come with mentorship as well. There are some strings attached. You are required to make a presentation to Dashboard Makeover. And again, the application is also going to talk about that. Or if you're a Learn Power BI student and you would like some mentorship, I should probably put like a beta tag on this, a big beta tag. A lot of things we do, frankly, in a way, they're always in beta, right? So this is actually the second time we're doing it. So this is beta number 2, but this is still a beta. So we're not really sure. But mentorship, actually, we're doing for the first time. But we're excited. And what has happened is some Pro Plus members have stepped up to be mentors. And when I asked them, I was kind of really afraid because I was thinking, oh man, I mean, these guys might be busy, they might be focused, and am I not? I mean, so imagine, I mean, they've paid good money to be in this program and to focus and get this journey to become Power BI consultant. But I'm glad that they must have something that I must have said it correctly to them, would have conveyed it correctly to them, because life doesn't work that way. It's not like, oh, I'm going to be a consultant, I'm going to earn 6 figures and all that stuff, and that's all you focus on. It doesn't work that way because we are not built that way. I don't know, it's more complicated, more nuanced than that. And there are other aspects of life. One aspect is the more you give, the more you get. And so you can be out there and thinking about just getting. Like, I want to get this money, I want to get this title, I want to get this client, I want to get this job. But, and maybe you would fail in a lot of those or struggle with those. It's not going to come easy to you. Or you can be in a position where you're full. You're not really chasing something. You're doing it, right? So you're not like, oh, when that happens, then I'll be happy. You're happy as you go on that journey. And of course, since you're happy and you're full, you're glad to share it. And you know, full, you're already abundant in terms of both money and time already. Yeah, there's no change needed. The only change needed is here. And when that happens inside, then that gets reflected outside. Um, right? So these guys have heard this stuff from me. And
Mhm.
so it wasn't a surprise when I said, hesitatingly, I was like, oh my gosh, they're busy, they're so focused. I don't know, maybe it's not a good time. I almost pulled the plug on it. I'm like, so again, I mean, we hit 50K subscribers. I want to do something special. I've had this idea for a while. Uh, but I'm like, I almost didn't ask them. But when I asked them, man, the answer's board. Like, oh yeah, I mean, and a lot of them have kind of stepped up and say, yep, we'll be happy to do this because we know the more we give, the more they're gonna get. I know that's true. So this is the first time. This is gonna be pretty cool, and these are pretty amazing folks, and you get a chance to go on this journey, guided by them. So of course, I'm going to be there. I'm one of the mentors as well. Let me see.
Mhm.
So that's kind of one program. That's what Learn Private Students. It's a scholarship.
But this
Uh,
six-figure is really possible to
say again.
make
Say
this
again.
business with six-figure business. Is it manageable?
Well, I'll tell you this. One of her students, he's a bit on the shy side, so he shared it very hesitatingly because he doesn't like to brag, and he doesn't, I don't think he doesn't always want, yeah. So, but he's cool. He's a great guy. So he shared it a little hesitatingly, but he shared that he had a 35,000 month, man. And the thing is, don't multiply it by 12 because if that's January, he's only going to grow from there. And he shared that, and he shared it hesitatingly, but he did say that, guys, so don't like, I mean, just see that as an example of what's possible. That's crazy, right? But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, the opportunity here is limitless, is limitless. And here's the thing: the journey we think is outside. The journey we think is that, oh, we're gonna do these things and then we're gonna become that. But the truth is that the journey is actually opposite. It's backwards. When you become that inside, those things are going to happen inside. You cannot become a millionaire without a millionaire mindset.
That's true.
And if you have the millionaire mindset, nobody can stop you. So anybody who has made their millions, who has made their money, right? And you ask them that, hey, if I took your money away, if you took your money away right now, would you be able to get back to the same level? Each one of them is going to say this, saying, dude, I'm not only going to be able to get back, I'm going to get there faster than ever before because I know
Mhm.
so much, right? So it's what's in here, right? They think, operate differently. So that's kind of the journey. So yeah, I mean, I frankly, yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of my take on it. So possibility is there, but if you have like that fixed mindset, right? So if you come in here, then like the opportunities are limited, and I have to fight for them. I have to compete with these other 20 people in this group. Obviously, we say that at the get go. It's like, hey, if you have that mindset, this group is not for you. So you got to come in with the growth mindset that opportunity is limitless. And of course, if opportunities are not limited, they're limitless, then the best way to get there is to kind of go together and help and give and all that sort of stuff. So, of course we do specific things, but we also talk about kind of the mindset and all that stuff, and it's kind of woven in. And not saying that I'm the guru, I'm the top of the mountain. Man, I struggle with the exact same stuff that these guys are going through. In fact, I talk to them about this all the time, about these internal fear, the imposter syndrome, and all this stuff, and I share all of that with them. And well, we help each other. So yeah, awesome. So folks, so yeah, learnpowerbi.com/get. And don't forget the other side, which is the give. And the more you give, the more you get. And well, help me get smiles back on these kids. So they're born with this condition. And in developed countries, this is within the first month or the first 3 months of the child, they're operated on, right? So they don't have to grow up with the stigma or shame or whatever, right? Hopelessness of frankly looking like that. It's hard. It's not easy, and I know that because I wasn't born with a cleft lip, but man, I broke my tooth, and I'm telling you, those days I was a changed man. I didn't have confidence, and where I am right now, if my tooth had stayed broken, I'm telling you, none of that would have happened. None of that would have happened, and I think that would have been not good, right? So yeah, I mean, it's a terrible impact, and the thing is, it's so easy to help. So if you donate $24 and we get 10 of those donations, that's it. That's one child who gets a smile back. So that's the other side, mates. Don't forget that. LearnPowerBI.com/get. If you need a scholarship, help, mentorship, but then the other side/give. The real Power BI program is also open. Where did that go? So just go to our homepage, learnpowerbi.com, and we are looking for business users to submit their project, which we're going to then match you up with our current Pro Plus batch. And this is one of the cool things about Real Pro Plus and Real Power BI. So we're happy about that. So, sorry, Peter, were you saying something?
Project. Okay. But in your menu, where is it?
This is actually right on the homepage. So if you just go learnpowerbi.com, it's also in the menu, but it's a little harder to find. So free resources and then free project help. Yeah, but yeah, so you can submit a project there, and that's it. So let's kind of recap on the Q&A side. So guys, this is like the version 2.0, still beta, but earlier we would do ad hoc, and that I think it needed some love. So we tried pre-submit. I think that worked, but clearly I can't answer all the questions even if I stayed for the whole day. So we're going to have to figure out. So we're going to do that offline. I'm going to check back in with our Pro Plus students that what's the best approach. Can we tag team, so forth. Can we tackle some of those questions offline? So we just send you, again, I'm trying to avoid email, but somehow.
I have to go too.
All right, thanks, Peter. Right, so do it offline, or prioritize it better. And for prioritization, I have this thing of voting, but I do know that, yeah, man, the voting is actually, well, if it needs me to submit this, then yeah, it's not easy enough. So it's not that hard. You got to log in and then you got to kind of open the card and vote. Voting can help. Otherwise, we'll see. Maybe there are other ideas there. So we're going to repeat this next month, maybe version 2.1 with small tweaks. But yeah, what is next week? I don't remember what we're doing next week. But of course, we're going to be live here again on Talk Power BI. Probably be talking about something exciting, hopefully. So yeah, we'll see you guys next Friday. All right, power on.